Virginia cheerleaders are not the only ones fired up. Scott Stadium will be sold out today as ABC Sports presents college football, a CFA matchup, and a big in-state rivalry. The Hokies of Virginia Tech here to take on the Cavaliers of Virginia. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Zabriskie along with Gary Reasons, and we welcome you to ABC's coverage of college football. Today, the Virginia Cavaliers against Virginia Tech, and the Cavaliers having another fine season. One of the main reasons for their continuing success, they're coached by one of the most respected, Gary, and one of the best in college football.
They certainly are, Steve. George Welsh is one of the best coaches in college football. He's well liked across the country and by his players. He has 97 career wins here at Virginia, and he is an excellent coach. He has brought this team to two bowls the past couple of seasons, and number 3 is right around the corner. One of the big reasons for their success this year is the play of their tailback, Tiki Barber. Tiki Barber has over 1,300 yards rushing this year, and a couple weeks ago against Florida State, he had 163 yards. Tiki is a quality running back, Steve.
Well, he's going to be up against it today, however, because Virginia Tech brings to the field one of the best defenses in the country, Gary, particularly against the run.
They are very good, Steve. Virginia Tech's defense is ranked second in the nation against the run, and they get upfield pressure. They're very, very good at that. They have 112 tackles for loss for the season and 44 sacks as well, so Tiki has his hands full this week.
We'll be back with more as we get set for the kickoff. But first, this message and a word from your ABC station. As Virginia comes onto the field, 8-3 on the year, 7-1 in the ACC. Virginia Tech 8-2 and 6-1 in their conference, the Big East. But That means very little because this is a big in-state rivalry. That's how far apart these two schools are. And this is the 100th anniversary of the first meeting between these two schools back in 1895. And we want to welcome to ABC Sports a fellow from our local ABC affiliate, Richmond, Chip Tarkington. Chip will be on the sidelines with us.
Well, first, it's a great pleasure to be a part of this broadcast. And as you mentioned, it's a sellout crowd, my friends. Half the crowd will be Virginia fans, half will be Virginia Tech. And the home team the last 3 years can't stand prosperity. The visitors have won 3 in a row.
Thank you a lot, Chip. Chip will be bringing us up to date. But first, let's get an update on what else is happening from John Saunders.
Guys, thanks a lot. We'll get to your kickoff in just a moment, but another game will follow, a big one between Michigan and Penn State, the past 2 champions in the Big Ten. Then at 3:30 Eastern Time, some of you will see Northwestern make its run at the Rose Bowl as they go against Purdue, or Arkansas against LSU, and we'll see you at halftime.
The weather a lot better than it might have been, and certainly it's warmer than it was the last day or two as we get set for the kickoff. There's really not much of a chance of moisture. Adel Larson, who was born in Sola, Norway, will do the kicking off for Virginia Tech. The Hokies won the toss. They elected to defer, so Virginia will receive. Number 2 is Demetrius Allen. 28 is Terrence Wilkins. Back for the Cavaliers. Very high, short kick. Wilkins at about the 3. Tripped up as he crosses the 15, and a good play by number 94, Jason Barish, who does a good job on special teams for Tech. Well, Mike Groh, the Virginia quarterback, number 13, has had a sensational career. This is what he's done this year with over 2,300 yards passing.
Mike Groh is a very, very competent quarterback. He's the second year really as a starter here for Virginia. This year he's actually one of the finalists for the Unitas Award. He's really had a nice season. He doesn't make very many mistakes out there. He's a coach's son, so he knows how to play the game.
Virginia will start with less than the best field position as they're going to put the ball just about the 15, just past the 15, and now they've got the wrong ball in play. Virginia wants their football.
Left that kicker's ball out there. Kickers like those soft, mushy ones, yeah.
A little different than the one you want to throw and hand off. And each team can use a different football, and often that's the case. Tiki Barber. And he gets maybe a yard and maybe 2, that's all. Tackled by Jim Barron, one of the defensive tackles, number 92. Let's check out the Chili's starting lineup, the backs and receivers for Virginia.
Yeah, we talked about Tiki Barber in the open. He is really a really competent tailback back there. Darrell Medley at fullback really does a nice job of blocking, and he picks his way through there and gets some good yardage as well. Receiving-wise, they're missing Patrick Jeffers today, their number 1 receiver, from a leg injury, and he just has not been able to come back. So we've got Germane Crowell out there at split end.
Second down, about 9. The pitch to Barber. Barber hit behind the line of scrimmage and driven back by Hank Coleman, the defensive end. Well, we told you Virginia Tech tough against the run, and right off the bat, they're showing it. Coleman, a senior at 235 out of Richmond.
These guys up front, they're going to have their hands full with this Virginia Tech defense here. Jason Augustino, John Slocum, and Chris Harrison. They're all seniors. Chris Harrison is a 6-year senior coming back after a broken ankle last season. And really with a lot of question mark whether he'd come back and play, but he has done so this year and done a really fine job.
One of 5 guys on the Virginia team that are in graduate school. 3rd and long, and flags. Whistle stopping play as Groh is trying to go from the shotgun. Our referee is Al Hines. And George Welch not thrilled with what he has seen so far. The illegal procedure against Virginia. And we do not have a microphone on the referee today, so we will try to interpret for you as best we can. Now Virginia Tech, of course, has the option. They can move him back and have the same down. It would make it 3rd down and about 17. And that's what they're going to do.
Virginia Tech's front 7, these guys are really good. I talked earlier about how many big plays they've made behind the line of scrimmage. Well, George Del Rico has done a really nice job running that front 7. He's their middle linebacker, their leading tackler. He's a senior. He's a very, very good, steady inside linebacker. Secondary, Torian Gray. Look for him to make some plays back there at strong safeties, and all Big East player himself.
Groh trying to throw it out to Brian Owen, and he makes the catch at about the 22. He's going to be short of the first down yardage, however, covered by Lauren Johnson in the secondary. So Virginia will have to kick it away with a no gain, a loss, and a penalty, all on their first possession on 4th down and about 5. Will Bryce has a tremendous leg as Larry Green, number 7, drops back for Virginia Tech. Green standing at his own 40. Bryce has averaged 41 yards a kick this year. And he just does get it away. Virginia Tech very good at blocking kicks as Green takes a fair catch at the 36. And the Tech Hokies will have pretty good field position after a 37-yard punt into the wind. Here's Jim Druckenmiller. Big, strong, 220-pounder, spends a lot of time in the weight room with the offensive linemen.
He's one of those guys that hangs in there. I tell you, he can take a hit in the pocket. He can run the ball a little bit. Jim is a very, very good quarterback. He's one of the guys that's just a natural leader out there on the field, and that's what Virginia Tech likes about him.
Now, this is what Tech will do. They will line up, and Druckenmiller will be behind the line of scrimmage as if the shotgun. They actually will go without a huddle quite often. Crawl plays from there. And a bit of a surprise as Dwayne Thomas is starting at tailback, and he gets to the 40 before he's pushed back by Joe Crocker, number 4.
Well, we didn't really know before the game whether Thomas would play. He had an injury last week in the ball game, and we kind of thought that Ken Oxendine would be the starter at tailback, and really Oxendine has taken the load the last couple of weeks. He's had a couple of big games and been actually their 2nd leading rusher on the season. He's just a young guy in there, and he's going to do a good job this week spelling at that tailback position.
Well, either one of them are a load. Thomas must be healthy enough. 2nd down, play action. Druckenmiller incomplete. It was intended for Bryan Still, and Rondé Barber, number 19, had the coverage in the secondary. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 7. And here's the Chili's starting lineup for the offensive line, led by Malone.
Yeah, Chris Malone here is a senior, and this is his 45th start. Really remarkable. He started every game in his college career. And Billy Conaty, the center himself, he's just a junior. He started every game as well. But to start 45 games in a row, that's saying a lot for that young man.
Druckenmiller will go from the shotgun on 3rd and 7. Lots of time. Dumps it off to Brian Edmonds, the fullback. He can't get it. And it's almost picked off by Skeet Jones, who couldn't quite come up with it. And the Virginia defense elicits a huge cheer from their fans as they turn Tech away on their first possession.
A little bit of a feeling out process for both teams on their first drive, kind of see what the defense is going to give them. And we'll probably see a little more open play from both teams when they get their next possession.
John Thomas on to punt. Tiki Barber drops back for Virginia. Thomas under pressure has the punt touched apparently. He goes down, no flag, and the ball goes only to the Tech 44 or 47. A 13-yard punt. And we'll have to take a look and see who got a hand on it when we come back.
You want to set up field position, you do it here in the kicking game, and just watch the center of your screen right in front of number 40 there on the line. You'll see Adrian Burnham. He's going to slide through here, get around the personal protector, who's number 40. There he is, gets his hands up, gets a little piece of the ball, and resulting for Virginia having good field position to start their second possession here at the 47-yard line.
And Virginia giving Tech a little of their own medicine. Tech, under Frank Beamer, has blocked a lot of kicks. They blocked 8 this year alone, and now Virginia with excellent field position after the 13-yard punt. They go first and 10 from their own 47. No score, first quarter. Play action, Groh rolling out. Demetrius Allen with an excellent catch and a first down. Larry Green was right there. But Demetrius, whom they call Pete on the football team, snared it for a gain of 18.
Little Pete's had a great year, and I tell you, for Virginia, one of the things that they do very, very well is their play-action passing game. Mike Groh runs that very well. And Pete Allen, I tell you, he's one of the guys that they need to step up in the absence of Patrick Jeffers. You see here, as Groh, he steps outside, puts the ball outside, and Pete Allen has a step on the defender. Nice job that time by Virginia.
On first down, Tiki Barber on the delay, straight up the middle, and a big gain of about 6 on first down before he's knocked down by Brandon Simonis, number 21 at linebacker.
You can expect Tiki Barber to carry the ball a lot today. He's a heck of a running back, and he's one of the guys they're going to have taking the ball all day long. Watch him here as he just breaks through. He has track speed. He is one of the guys on the track team along with his brother Rondé. Just when you give him a hole like that, he's going to get 6-7 yards easily.
Officially, they say a gain of 5. As you look at Tiki's numbers, also averaging 5.4 yards a carry. Second down and a short 5. They need to get inside the 25. Groh letting it go for the end zone. Touchdown! Germane Crowell with a 29-yard reception.
Watch Crowell here. He has man coverage on the outside. It's free safety help in the middle of the field, but he stays wide. As you let it run here, you'll see that Crowell just works to the outside, Mike Groh has the patience. He steps back, throws the ball up and outside. He's way past the defender, and an easy 6 points for the Cavaliers.
Rafael Garcia, born in Spain, on to attempt the extra point. He's made 28 of 33. And he adds to that total 10:41 to go in the first quarter. And the team that has scored first in this series has won the last 6 meetings between these two teams. College football here on ABC Sports, brought to you today by Chevy Trucks, the most longest lasting dependable trucks on the road, and Hitachi, or Chili's. In fact, both of them. Chili's Bar and Grill, where steak lovers go for great grilled steaks. The Document Company, Xerox, a simpler way to do good work. And Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. Steve Zabriskie along with Gary Reasons. Chip Tarkenton on the sidelines as Virginia scores quickly after the partially blocked punt. In only 3 plays, they go 53 yards. Mike Groh, 3 of 3 passing on the drive.
Nice job that time by Virginia, taking a turnover or a play in the kicking game and turning it into points. Take an early lead here in this ball game.
Antonio Banks back to receive the kick. And out to about the 32.
Well, take a look at what we got here to win this game, Virginia. I think they got to get Tiki Barber have the ball 20 to 25 times, and their defense has to create turnovers and keep Ken Oxendine under 80 yards rushing. And for Virginia Tech, they need to work the field today, multiple formations and personnel groups, which is what they're doing on offense. And their defense does what they need to do what they do so well, and that's make negative yardage plays, tackles for loss. You'll see that today from this Virginia Tech defense.
Virginia Tech starting at their own 33. Thomas, a good spin move to avoid Rondé Barber coming up from the secondary. And he fell forward to about the 38. Here's the Chili's starting lineup, the backs and receivers for Virginia.
Virginia, the strength for their defense is their linebackers, James Ferrier and Jamie Sharper. These guys have tremendous speed at linebacker, 4.5 in the 40. These guys can flat run, and they can make plays all over the field. I really like those 2 players.
Dwayne Thomas gained 5, so it is 2nd and 5 at the 38. Druckenmiller runs out of time, but gets away. Not the second time. They just kept coming, and finally Todd White got him down. White, a 265-pound junior.
Nice job here by Virginia. They're running a little game inside. They're just switching off in there. And you see here, big Jim Druckenmiller can get out of one, but he can't get away from White, the young nose tackle who gets out there and makes a nice play. Good job that time by Virginia on the pass rush.
Tony Agee almost had him, and he's 285. We told you Druckenmiller was big and strong at about 220. He just threw him off. There's Germane Barber in the secondary. And that's a good secondary. They've got 22 interceptions this year. 3rd down 10. Druckenmiller going to be sacked again. He gets it away, and it's incomplete. As he was falling down, he got the ball to Thomas, avoided the sack, but it's going to be 4th down and 10.
Nice job of coverage that time by Virginia. They were in a 2-deep zone coverage. They matched up on all the receivers as they came out, did a really nice job. Jim Druckenmiller had nowhere to throw the ball, resulting in pressure, and he had to throw it away.
Tiki Barber dropping back. John Thomas under some pressure gets this one away. And with the wind, it lands at about the 35 and rolls down to about the 32. A punt of only 35 yards. We'll be back. Take you back to September 29, 1984, the Virginia Tech game. 4th and inches. Less than 11 minutes left to go. Don Mikowski hits John Ford with a 33-yard pass to the 1-yard line. Virginia scored on the next play with 5 minutes left to wipe out a 10-point deficit and beat Virginia Tech 26-23. That's when Virginia went on to their first bowl game, the Peach Bowl, with an 8-2 record.
These two coaches, bowl games are nothing for them. George Welsh and Frank Beamer, these guys have really turned these two programs into winning traditions, and bowl games are the result of that.
Groh passing on 1st down, and it's complete underneath to the tight end, Walt Derry, and he's very close to a 1st down. William Yarbrough, the free safety, number 24, made the tackle.
You're going to see Virginia spread the ball around today to their tight ends, to their outside receivers, and also to their tailback, Tiki Barber. Their offense with Mike Groh at the helm is really suited to move the ball around. He does a nice job, and what they like with him is he makes good decisions.
Well, that play worked out well. Gain of 8, almost 9, 2nd and short. Medley trying to get just enough for the 1st down. Darrell Medley averaging over 4 yards a carry. Obviously doesn't carry that much. He's a great blocker for the tailback. Tonight, special time, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Joan Collins, George Hearn, and Ashley Johnson star in the world premiere of Annie, A Royal Adventure on Saturday night at the movies. And then Brett Butler hosts with Jeff Foxworthy. Chicago, Paula Poundstone, more, the all-new Gala for the President. Little Orphan Annie and a big special both tonight here on ABC. Just enough for the 1st down. Mike Groh now with the single season UVA record. He's gone over 2,400 yards. that last pass completion to tight end Walt Derry.
15 touchdowns. That's a really nice season for that young man.
First down, Virginia at their own 42. No score, or 7-0, Virginia leading. Groh has lots of time, and he hits a wide open Demetrius Allen. Allen almost lost the football, but holds on at the 40 as Big Jim Barron, one of the Tech defensive linemen, finally tracked him down. First down, Virginia in Virginia Tech territory.
Nice play selection that time by Tom O'Brien. They watch here. Crowell's going to run through the zone, and Pete Allen's going to come underneath the coverage here. Mike Groh makes a nice throw right in the breadbasket, and here it's all Pete Allen making the run after the catch. Lucky he didn't get the ball stripped from the defender coming up behind that time, but it's a nice play by the Cavaliers.
Groh again has time. Short drop, and the ball, now it's intercepted. Kicked around, and Virginia Tech finally comes up with it. Finally corralled the football, number 55, after a couple of other guys had their hands on it.
Hey, that looked like volleyball out there, Steve. The ball came out. Mike Groh threw the ball, and the ball was tipped. You see him here, he's looking down, and the ball's going to come right at you. I don't know who tips the ball. It's the defender, and it goes up in the air, and watch this hit right here. Boom, the ball comes out. Might have been better to knock that ball down if he could. Virginia Tech results in the interception.
Brandon Simonis hit it. Hank Coleman caught it. He had it knocked out, and Newsom came up with it. So now it's first down, Virginia Tech at their own 35. Oxendine in at tailback. And he gets about 3 before he's pent backwards. John Harris, number 98, leading the charge. Let's go down and check in with Chip Tarkenton. Chip.
Well, a few moments ago, you mentioned Tiki Barber. At the end of last season, he knew that he was just not tough enough physically to take the pounding of every week. So they put him on a big weight program. He picked up 15 pounds. Virginia's going to tout him for the Heisman next year.
He might be a candidate with the yardage he's had this year. It usually takes 2 good seasons to be a Heisman candidate. But he can run up inside now. At 15 pounds heavier. Second down, 7. Ken Oxendine again, and he doesn't go very far, maybe a yard. Anthony Poindexter, number 3, came up from the secondary to support well. He's all over the place when he's in there.
What you're seeing here from Virginia Tech is what they normally do. They let Jim Druckenmiller stand up at the line of scrimmage. They don't huddle up all the time. He'll call the play right at the line, and he has plenty of time to audible because they do not huddle. He reads the defense, does a good job of that. And here he is right now trying to decide the play to run. He's getting it from the sideline, and he'll walk up and look at the defense.
Third down and a little longer than 5 to go. You see 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Virginia leading 7-0. Lots of time. And he's going to heave it for the end zone. Germane has it. Bryan Still at the 2-yard line. That ball seemed to be up there forever, and Bryan Still had to wait for it and still caught it.
A watch from behind Druckenmiller here. He's just going to throw the ball wide up. He's got Still on the outside to his right. And as we run the play here, you'll see that it's too deep coverage, and the receiver gets behind the cornerback. He doesn't get a jam on the receiver, and the safety is late coming over. Quarterback scrambles out for a little more time and throws it deep and outside, and Still just goes up and makes the play in front of behind the cornerback for a good reception there at the 1-yard line. You see him here, he's going to get by. The cornerback couldn't get a jam on him because he had too much field to work with, and he knows he's got to run with him because the safety's over in half the field, and just didn't have enough time to get over there.
I think Joe Williams actually touched that ball. Touchdown, Virginia Tech.
Steve, that's how quickly these two teams can change in the game. A big turnover, they're going to turn it into points, and Frank Beamer's got to like what he sees there from his Virginia Tech Hokies. Ken Oxendine can come in and run, and you have the quarterback Druckenmiller throwing the ball down the field to his receiver. That's a really nice series there, making points off of a turnover.
Yeah, they struck quickly. A 59-yard pass play to Bryan Still is what set it up. Adel Larson on to attempt the extra point. It is perfect. We have 5:24 to go in the first quarter, and we are tied at 7.
Here's Druckenmiller handing off to Oxendine. He's just a tough kid. He's got a lot of shiftiness to him. Just stretches the ball over the goal line for the touchdown.
Well, as you would expect, a tight ball game in this rivalry. And we got more action for you coming up on Action Monday night here on ABC. Jeff Fahey is going to go undercover to bust bad cops on an all-new episode of The Marshal. And then on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, 9-time All-Pro Jerry Royce and the San Francisco Giants head south to take on Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. 49ers and Dolphins, Rice and Marino. Monday night, 9 Eastern, right here on ABC.
Never seen Jerry Rice look so serious.
A candid shot. Battle Larson will kick off for Virginia Tech. Demetrius Allen and Terrence Wilkins. And each team has scored quickly. Virginia scored in 1:06 on 3 plays, and Tech now has scored in 4 plays in just under 2 minutes. Virginia scored after a partially blocked punt, and Virginia Tech scoring after an interception gave them midfield field position. George Welch in his 14th year here at Virginia after a tremendous coaching job at the Naval Academy. Another high kick. Allen lets Wilkins take it. And Wilkins out to about the 22. Warren Johnson, number 12, 50 up.
Well, Steve, I think the sun's trying to peek out here, and it's heating up as well as these players out there on the field. This is a tough rivalry between these two teams. And I tell you, this is a game that we expected to be close, and it may be that way the whole day.
Well, these games usually are not decided by a large margin. And that's really typical of most rivalry games. Medley and Barber in the backfield. No, it's Brooks, Kevin Brooks in there. And he may even lose a yard. As Tech's defensive front had terrific penetration, as usual, led by George Del Rico, number 41, their leading tackler.
And that's what the Virginia Tech defense will do. They will step up and they will make tackles for loss. I think they might have lost maybe a yard on that play or close to it. That's what this team does. They had 112 on the season. I tell you, I've only allowed 74 yards a game rushing, second in the nation. That's a very, very good defensive group that this Virginia team is having to run against.
As you see, they are second in the entire country against the run. Second down, about 11. Play action. Groh wants to go long. And it's overthrown for Derek Bird. Tony Morrison had coverage and good coverage on Bird.
Mike Groh knows that ball, the only one who's going to catch it is his receiver if he throws it long enough and he runs underneath it. It's not a very bad choice for him to throw the ball down the field. No problems there. And Mike today is at 5 completions of 7 attempts, and he's doing a nice job so far. But the one interception, I don't know if it was his fault, it was tipped up in the air. But it resulted in a chance for Virginia Tech to take it down the field and score, and they did.
Yeah, that was a good play by Simonis to get in there and tip that ball. Third down and a long 10. Groh pulls it down. Makes a good move. He's going to be about a yard short of the first down. Hank Coleman and George Del Rico bring him down.
Well, when Mike Groh steps back, he sees he's going to have some pressure in his face. See the defense kind of collapse on him there, and he sees a hole to his right. He's going to take it and see if he can get some yardage there. Makes a nice move here to get back inside for a couple extra yards, and as you said, Steve, looks like it's about a yard short.
And Groh's shaken up. His leg, which he already has a brace on, got hurt on that play, and that may be very significant for Virginia. Will Bryce gets the punt away as Larry Green now is driven back. Bryce really got a leg into that one, back to about the 18. But Green finds a wall, and he's out to the 42. Bryce may have outkicked the coverage even though he banged that one. Larry Green brought it back. And again, Virginia Tech will have excellent field position. We'll try to get a report on Mike Groh when we come back.
take a look here, see how Mike Groh injures his left knee. It's at the end of the play. He's running here and he's cutting back. You'll see him, he kicks the leg up here onto his guard, and then he's going to have some guys fall at it right there. It might have hurt, and then you have Del Rico right on top of it. They're tending to him on the sideline still right now.
Tim Sherman, the backup quarterback, has started to warm up just in case. That was a 53-yard punt by Bryce, but a 27-yard return by Green. And Tech on first down. Brian Edmonds, a fullback, gets about 2 to the 45 is all. There's Sherman loosening up.
Yeah, Sherman's a junior, and actually they had another quarterback, Simeon Willis, who was a starter last year, and Mike Groh unseated him. He would have been a fifth-year returning senior along with Groh, and he opted not to come back to concentrate on baseball. But Sherman hasn't had a lot of playing time because Mike Groh has been the starter the entire season.
As always, we'll keep you up to date on what else is happening in college football, even with this relatively early start today on ABC Sports. And John Saunders is in the studio with updates as well. 2nd and 8. Play action. Druckenmiller wants to go long again. He has Bryan Still out there. And Still has got it. Percy Ellsworth also caught the ball. But the tie goes to the offensive player, and the official made a very emphatic call.
Look at the top of your screen. You can see Bryan Still, and Rondé Barber's got outside protection on him, and safety is short underneath, and the ball is just thrown up. Ellsworth makes a nice adjustment there, trying to catch the ball himself. But as Steve said, the referee is going to let it go here. We'll take a look from behind the quarterback. You see Jim Druckenmiller just throws the ball up to where Still can run underneath it. Ellsworth is trying to come over, and they both catch the football. But they're going to give it to the Virginia Tech receiver.
Bryan Still can run. He beat Rondé Barber on that play. That's a 51-yard pass, and they had a 59-yarder earlier to set up their touchdown. Now they're right back there inside the 5 again as Edmonds is tackled by Jamie Sharper, number 33.
Bryan Still's been the recipient of a lot of big plays this year, and 2 here in this ball game. He's the #1 receiver for the Virginia Tech offense.
Jay Haygood, one of the starting tackles at 290 pounds, injured on the play for Virginia Tech. It's going to bring up a 2nd and goal, and the ball on about the 2-yard line. Haygood's out of Easley, South Carolina.
He's one of their best offensive linemen up there at the left tackle position, and they roll a lot of their offensive linemen in there, so they have some experience coming in there. Cap will come in and play a little bit at the left tackle position, so he's been on the field for these guys, and Virginia Tech likes to roll their guys so they get a little fresh, as well does the Virginia offense when they have their offense out there.
Well, a couple of weeks ago when Virginia Tech played Syracuse in what was a very big game in the Big East, Frank Beamer and his offensive guys pulled out a lot of stops. They did some things that they hadn't done. And there we're seeing them go deep, which they tried to do against Syracuse with less success. Here, they've had success right off the bat throwing long.
Well, I'll tell you, that's one of the things that's plagued, I think, this secondary here for Virginia. Their cornerbacks, they try to gamble a lot. They have a lot of interceptions. They have 22 interceptions on the year. But when you're trying to find the football all the time and try to put it away for the interception, you're opening yourself up for the big play. And that's what's resulted here for Virginia Tech in the first couple of times it still has made the grab.
Let's get a quick note on some other programming coming up here on ABC.
What, 5B doing aerobics again?
Better, 4B's watching the Michigan game.
Get out of here. That's not on TV around here.
Yeah, it is across the street.
Thanks to ABC College Football on ESPN pay-per-view, your ticket to the best gridiron action is just a phone call away. Catch blockbuster matchups that you can't see in your local area.
Yes!
Give me those.
No, I'm still looking.
2nd and goal from the 2. Thomas getting outside. Touchdown! Percy Ellsworth got a hold of him but could not keep him out of the end zone, and Virginia Tech has taken the lead.
Hey, on that run, Dwayne Thomas didn't look injured to me. He had the speed to get to the corner. Percy Ellsworth, as you said, Steve, tried to get there, but Thomas had enough speed to make the corner and made a touchdown again here for the Virginia Tech offense.
Each of the Hokies touchdowns set up by big pass plays between Druckenmiller and Still. 59 yards the first time, 51 yards this time, and Abdul Larson will attempt the extra point. He sneaks it in the right upright. 1:46 to go in the first quarter, and Virginia Tech up 14-7.
Good way to rebound here for this Virginia Tech offense to come out there and make a big play. Frank Beamer's got to like this. You'll see Thomas here, just a tailback. They're going to pitch it to him. He's just got speed to the corner. Good block on the corner there. And Ellsworth can't make it there in time.
Another factor here, Gary, is the 27-yard punt return by Larry Green that gave Tech good field position.
That's exactly right here. When you have good field position, good things can happen. And these teams have had good field position for their offenses the entire year, and they result in points.
Well, for the second time, Tech's drive only 4 plays. This one took 1:46.
The tight end had the block there, and then they also got the block on Joe London on the outside, gave him the corner. Good job of blocking by the Virginia Tech offensive line.
Now Virginia will get the ball back. You see the scoring drive and a quick one again.
21 points here in the first quarter, Steve. We still got a couple minutes left.
I think that's, at least to me, Gary, that's a bit of a surprise. I thought the defenses would dominate, but big plays have played a factor in all 3 touchdowns. Larson will kick off. Demetrius Pete Allen and Terrence Wilkins again back for Virginia. And Allen's going to watch it go in and out of the end zone for a touchback. So it'll be Cavaliers at the 20.
And I can't see whether or not Mike Groh is up at the helm there. Remember, he was injured on the last series. It looks like we're going to have the other quarterback in there.
Yep, here comes Sherman. Tim Sherman is a junior from Charlottesville, right here in local young man, 6'1", 205. So we'll try to get an injury update on Mike Groh as Sherman fills in. First down from the 20. Barber, nowhere to run. What a play by big Waverly Jackson at 295. He just ran over his blocker and was right there when Barber took the handoff.
Steve, when you're 295 pounds and get your hands underneath the blocker, you can take him back into the backfield. And it's exactly what Waverly Jackson did that time. Did a really nice job of creating, space, getting on the behind the line of scrimmage and making the play in the backfield. Nice job by Virginia Tech.
It's 2nd and 13 after the loss of 3. Barber again. This time he gets maybe to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. He is hammered by Jeff Holland, one of the defensive linemen.
You've got to wonder how much missing Mike Groh is going to change their game plan. He's very good at the play-action passing game, and Tim Sherman, he's only been in 5 games this year. He's had 7 attempts for the year, and I don't know if he's capable of running the offense as well as Mike Groh has.
Well, he's having a tough time because he's going backwards. Actually lost another yard, so it's 3rd down and 14. They'll go from the shotgun. And away from Coleman. And Sherman trying to get to the first down marker is going to be about a yard short. Antonio Banks, number 9, right there. To try to make sure he did not get the first down. He went for lack of effort on Sherman's part, though.
Sometimes that's a good thing for a quarterback to take off and run and see what he can do if he's not sure of the pass. Came very close to the first down there.
They're going to bring the sticks all the way across to measure it and see. I think he's short from where the marker is on the far side, but the other thing that they want to do in this case is also find out how far they have to go. As you saw a moment ago, there are only 6 seconds remaining in the first quarter. And it is inches short. Well, I'd say that's about 24 inches. A couple of feet short. Half a yard.
Frank Beamer, decision time here, Coach. Got a couple inches to go. He's grabbing folks, trying to decide what to do here.
I think he's also trying to see what
he wants to know whether he's got to put his punt return.
Do.
Well, he's got to put his punt return team out there or his defense. In this situation, I'd certainly leave the defense on the field. There's no question mark there, because they could certainly run a fake or anything in the punt formation or where they put the offense out there.
Well, that's another thing that Virginia will do. They're huddling on the side and really not showing their hand until they get back out on the field. Now, the referee has started the clock, so the play clock is underway, and they're just going to let the game clock run down to the end of the first quarter.
It's like a timeout. Chance to think about it.
Turnovers and big plays have already played a part, as you would expect. Tech leading by 7.
What, 5B doing aerobics again?
Better, 4B's watching the Michigan game.
Get out of here. That's not on TV around here.
Yeah, it is across the street.
Thanks to ABC College Football on ESPN pay-per-view, your ticket to the best gridiron action is just a phone call away. Catch blockbuster matchups that you can't see in your local area.
Yes!
Give me those.
No, I'm still looking. Hey, come on. This is really silly.
You're right. You know what we gotta get?
Another pair of binoculars.
Bingo.
Ready for the second quarter here at Charlottesville, and Chip Tarkenton has a report on the status of Virginia quarterback Mike Groh. Chip.
Well, it's not good, Steve, if you're a Virginia fan. He has sprained the ligament in his left knee, and it started to swell up. The team doctor, Dr. Frank McHugh, has already taken him into the locker room. They don't expect him to come back right now unless something unusual happens when they get him in there, but it does not look like Mike Groh will be back the remainder of this game.
Thank you, Chip. Well, that would be a big blow to Virginia. And now Tim Sherman, whose dad is an assistant coach, has the weight on his shoulders. And we'll see if he can rise to the occasion. But you brought up a good point, as it's now 4th down. Virginia has decided to punt, and Will Bryce is on. Bryan Still, 17, has dropped back for Virginia Tech. Is Virginia going to have to change their offensive game plan now because of different quarterback? Bryce hangs it up there high. Still drops the ball at the 23, and he's dropped right away by Sam McKeever. A 45-yard punt by Bryce, who has a terrific leg, and a good play by McKeever. And here are the first quarter stats.
Well, the first quarter is basically a turnover game, a block kick game, and then a big passing yardage by Virginia Tech. That's what's taken over here. The time of possession is in Virginia's favor, but you know, it's not that way on the scoreboard. Virginia Tech has done a nice job of converting big plays into points.
Jim Druckenmiller started out missing his first 3 pass attempts, but his last 2 have been pretty darn good, 59 and 51 yards. Play action on first down, a wide receiver screen to Bryan Still, and defensed very well by John Harris, the left defensive end, who came out quickly. Or Still might have had a lot more yardage.
You can see the confidence that this Virginia Tech team has in Bryan Still. Get in the ball on the outside, let him have some guys in front of him to block, and let him run. He's a big play receiver, and they're going to give him the ball a lot more today if they can.
Well, he's already outrun some pretty speedy guys in the Virginia secondary a couple of times today. He's caught 3 balls now for 114 yards. Gain of 4, second and 6. Ken Oxendine makes a good move to get free and has the first down out to about the 34 before Paul London, number 5, the safety, brings him down.
I like that in a running back. Ken Oxendine has a little change of pace, the acceleration. He just kind of waits for things to develop in front of him, and he takes off and makes a nice run that time.
They mark it just outside the 34.
Yeah, these Virginia defensive backs, they've done a nice job combined for 42 career interceptions, and they need to play a little bit better now. They need to settle down and start doing what they do best, and that's coverage. They've got the big plays out of the way behind them, so they need to settle down and forget about those. I'll tell you, Rondé Barber back there and Joe Crocker, they need to do a nice job at the cornerback position to help this defense out.
Druckenmiller faking, going on first down, and the receiver, Bryan Still, fell down. Percy Ellsworth, with a diving attempt for the interception, couldn't come up with it. And Still had fallen down about 10 or 15 yards behind him.
I'm sure the defense coordinator, Rick Lance, for Virginia, is telling his secondary, especially his safeties, they're playing a lot of 2-deep zone coverage with Percy Ellsworth and London back, and they're trying to, stay back a little bit deeper so they can help on those deep passes. The cornerbacks are not able to get the jam to slow the guys down, so it's making the safety stay back a little bit further than they like to. You see Rick Lance there. He calls the signals on the sideline, and all the guys just turn to the side. It's not a huddle situation for our defense. They do a nice job.
They all look at him to get the play on defense. Second and 10. Incomplete, intended for Cornelius White, and it went through his hands and out of bounds. He was covered over there by Rondé Barber.
You look at that play, Rondé Barber, I thought as watching the ball game that he should have come up and really tattooed the receiver, but his mindset is to try to intercept the football, which is what he tried to do that time, but really he had a chance to lay some leather on the receiver, and he didn't do it that time. One of the knocks on Rondé Barber, he was an all-ACC performer last year at cornerback, is that he's just not as physical as he needs to be. He's not jamming well enough, but he has the talent to really carry the secondary to really big things.
Druckenmiller's receptions have been to Bryan Still. Inside handoff to Oxendine, and he cannot get away from James Ferrier.
That's the speed I talked about with these linebackers. Ferrier just slides outside, and Ken Oxendine has good speed himself, and Ferrier did a nice job making a play on the outside. You'll see here, just a little draw play. Oxendine's going to take it inside, but he bounces out thinking he can get there, but not in front of James Ferrier. He's going to hang on till the troops come. Good job by the Cavaliers.
So John Thomas is on the punt, averaging over 39 yards a kick. Tiki Barber back for Virginia, fair catch, and he takes it at the 29. So with 12:54 to go in the second quarter, a 36-yard punt, and Virginia will have it when we come back. Virginia back on offense, down by 7 here in the second quarter, as they will go from their own 30. Tim Sherman, with Mike Groh injuring his knee and out of there, running the bootleg pass. And a good diving catch by the tight end, Bobby Neely. And a short gain up to about the 34. Sherman ought to know something about playing quarterback. His dad, Tom, who is the wide receiver coach here, played quarterback professionally, and he had a brother who played at William & Mary.
Well, this is a nice job for Sherman to get outside of the pocket, let him throw the ball on the move, and he does a nice job throwing the ball a little bit in front of Neely, but Neely makes a reception. That's a nice settling play for a quarterback who hasn't had a lot of game experience.
Well, he's going to get it today. 2nd and 6. Barber trying to cut up. What a play by Tony Morrison, who came hard from his linebacker spot to get Barber in the backfield.
I told you guys, Virginia Tech, they get upfield, they make plays, they make tackles for losses behind the line of scrimmage, and that's another example of what they do defensively. They're going to be at Tiki Barber all day long, trying to get through there and making plays. Good job by Virginia Tech's defense.
We've got more football coming up next. Second half of our doubleheader. Arkansas, LSU, Northwestern, Purdue, UCLA, USC, Colorado, Kansas State, or Utah and BYU. Stay tuned. Sherman with a completion. Germane Crowell with a first down as Larry Green made the tackle in the secondary, but the ball out to the 47.
If I'm offense coordinator Tom O'Brien, I'm going to get my quarterback out of the pocket, let him see. We're going to run it here. You see he's going to have to just roll to his left a little bit, got the guard pulling in front of him. Good vision. He finds Crowell right there. Good shot. I'll tell you, a quarterback likes it when he can throw the ball on time into a receiver who's wide open, and that's exactly what Crowell was.
Crowell got a blast from Torian Gray, the strong safety, but kept going. Play action. Sherman rolling away from the pressure and looking long, and it's caught. Derek Bird right in front of Larry Green with an excellent reception and another first down.
There's Tom O'Brien, the offensive coordinator. He's calling a good game here. I don't know that he's changing up what they normally would do for Mike Groh in the game with Tim Sherman at the helm. Tim does a nice job of throwing the ball. It's actually underthrown. The receiver comes back for the ball and does a good job of hanging on to it.
It's a gain of 34 yards and a first down at the 19 of Virginia Tech. Tech leading by 7 in the second quarter. Barber, nice hole. Trying to cut back, but the pursuit catches up with him at the 15 in the form of Torian Gray, the strong safety, number 14.
That's the kind of looseness that Tiki Barber has, and George Welsh knows that he has a good running back, and as Chip said early in the telecast, so we may have a chance with this guy to see him. He touted as a Heisman guy. Watch him. He steps up here, sees the hole to his left, has the great vision, change of direction. They say his vision really improved. That's what Tom O'Brien told me. He said in spring practice, his vision to see the hole really improved. That's what's been the difference for him this year.
Barber finally with positive yardage. Sherman on play action in the end zone for Neely. Incomplete. A little bit high, a little bit behind him, but he was pretty well covered. On top of that, it'll be 3rd down and 5.
I think Sherman's doing a pretty nice job coming into the ball game under duress here, and he's 3 of 4, 3 of 5 now for 54 yards, doing a pretty good job of throwing the ball on timing. You know, he's not getting himself in trouble. Threw the ball up for Neely if he could catch it. If not, it's out. Nobody else is going to make the play.
Tom O'Brien looking on. Sherman from the shotgun. Lets it go for Allen, and he's got it. First down at the 7. Larry Green again with the coverage.
Tom O'Brien knows it. If you have a defensive front that has 44 sacks, 45 on the year, move the pocket. Get your quarterback out of the pocket. As you'll see here, you're going to see Sherman take the ball and move to his right. He moved to the left a couple plays back, gets him out of the pocket. Out there with vision, he can see the receiver, throws the ball on time. He does a nice job. The receiver catches the ball.
First and goal, Virginia at the 7. Barber banging straight ahead to the 5. Waverly Jackson.
Chip talked about early in the game as far as Tiki Barber bulking up. He gained about 10 to 15 pounds in the offseason. They say he really needed that to run better inside, and he's more of an effective runner inside. A couple weeks ago, we talked about him having 163 yards against Florida State. He had a big one early in the game there, 63 yards outside, but the majority of his runs came between tackle to tackle, which means he's a better runner inside than a lot of people might give him credit for.
Yeah, he told, George Welch told us yesterday that Tiki in high school never ran inside. Now flags go down. Whistles stopping play. We have an illegal procedure call by referee Al Hines against Virginia. So that'll move it back outside the 10.
Well, the Virginia offense, they come up and they do some shift sets, and they change those a little bit. They walk the tight end, they flick the tight end over to the other side, and sometimes a tackle may lean back a little bit when the tight end moves back, and that's what they're calling on that play.
So now offensive coordinator Tom O'Brien has to probably change the play on 2nd and goal. Neely tripped up by Antonio Banks at the 2. The ball went out of bounds, but it will be Virginia's ball where it went out.
Banks came up and made a nice play on a big tight end. You'll see Neely here. He's just on the right side of your screen. Tim Sherman's going to find him out in the flat. And I think old Big Neely here thinks he's a high jumper. Watch this. Whoop. Is that the old Fosbury?
Well, if Banks had not come flying through there and knocked him down, he might have snuck it in.
See it here on the left side of your screen. You're going to see him jump right into your living room. There he is, and boom. Good follow-up there on the tackle.
Morrison and Banks. 3rd down and goal. Sherman flipping it out to the fullback. Bentley, touchdown.
Steve, what have we seen on this drive? Tom O'Brien has spread the football around to Tiki Barber, the tight end Neely, and now Medley. He's moving it around. He's giving his quarterback different choices, different options. You've got Crowell outside making receptions, and that's what this guy does. He does a good job of finding the weaknesses on the defense.
Now they're going to throw for 2, and they get it. Sherman, who is the holder, took the snap while the rest of the team was lined up to the left and threw it to Neely, and Virginia leads 15-14 on the 2-point conversion. Thomas Jefferson founded the University of Virginia, and his statue in front of the rotunda here on the UVA campus, a very prominent figure not only at the University of Virginia but in this part of the country as well. Well, Sherman just threw his first career touchdown pass. It was kind of a slick play, Gary, the way they did play action, and then he just flipped it to the fullback sneaking through.
And then after that, he throws for a 2-point conversion out to Neely, who was not even covered on that extra point attempt. They kind of caught Virginia Tech with their pants down on that one.
Virginia Tech using Antonio Banks to return the kickoffs, and that's a little unusual. He had returned one previously this year as Rafael Garcia gets set to kick off. Banks standing at the goal line, and the sun is shining. Finally has broken through here in Charlottesville. 15-14 Virginia. Banks will take it at the 1. He gets a block. And Antonio Banks was one tackle away from going all the way as he gets it out to the 47. Let's get a quick update from John Saunders in New York.
Steve, in the Big Ten, Michigan and Penn State, and the Nittany Lions going to work. Wally Richardson tosses this one out to Mike Archie. He does the work, picks up a block there, tiptoes into the end zone, 10-0. Right now, Penn State is leading Michigan. Kentucky and Tennessee, Mo Williams has an 8-yard touchdown run as Kentucky has taken the lead over the number 4 Volunteers, 7-3. Steve.
Thank you, John. That's interesting. Penn State out in front of Michigan by 10. We have an injured Virginia Cavalier, and it looks like it's Andre McNeil, number 45.
Injured on the kickoff return, and I tell you, that's a good job of returning the football by Virginia Tech.
A 47-yarder by Antonio Banks as he took it by the goal line and brought it out to the 47. Andre McNeil, a freshman linebacker out of Miami, and he just went right back down. Boy, that is scary.
They need to be careful with this young man.
They better carry him
off. They need to stabilize him really quick.
He had his bell rung seriously. He's a true freshman from Miami, Florida. And that is not good. And they are bringing a stretcher out. And the crowd is now cheering because Mike Groh is walking back out onto the field from the dressing room. And he is walking in uniform and under his own power, as you can now see. So that brought a cheer from the Virginia faithful.
Well, I know Mike Groh from years back. I played for his dad in New York, and now Groh is now the defense coordinator for the New England Patriots. And I'm sure he's watching this game and happy to see his son come back out of the locker room. Don't know whether he's going to return to the ball game. And
he doesn't appear to be limping.
No, he's not doing too bad. Hey, he's picking up a football. That's a good sign, and hopefully we'll see a good sign here for the young man on the field.
We'll try to get an update on his situation from Chip Tarkington on the sidelines, and you see now Andre McNeil being placed on the stretcher. Try to find out the status of his situation and keep you updated as best we can. Virginia Tech down by a point with good field position. 1st and 10 at their own 47. Thomas gets away from Ellsworth and has a first down. Hard running by Dwayne Thomas, who remember came into this game with an injury. Finally, Skeet Jones, 32, and Adrian Burnham, number 37. Get him.
Nice job there that time by Thomas running outside. And Ellsworth, he comes up from the safety position, and he needs to make that tackle. He tried to tackle him high around the shoulder pads, and Thomas showed the strength that he has as a running back and runs right through the tackle for another 6 or 8 yards.
A gain of 16 and a first down in Virginia territory. The ball at the 37. Pitch to Thomas. And he's not going to go anywhere this time. John Harris was there. Jamie Sharper, number 33. And now a little after the play, shove it.
Good job at the point of attack there by the defensive line. You see Sharper step up and make the play.
Brian Edmonds, a fullback, out there blocking, taking exception to something. Look at number 32, Skeet Jones. Skeet's trying to fire up his boys.
He is. He's one of the co-captains on this team. He's the defensive captain out there, and he's trying to get this defensive team for Virginia fired up and ready to play here.
No gain. 2nd and 10. Play action. Druckenmiller trying to throw the screen, and he threw it too low and behind Cornelius White. White might have done better not to receive that ball. Hey, tomorrow at 1 Eastern, we're going to have tennis for you. The finals of the WTA presented by Corel. Right now, Steffi Graf and Natasha Zareva are playing one semifinal. Brenda Schultz-McCarthy and Anka Huber will be in the other semifinal. The winners of those two semis will meet tomorrow right here on ABC. 4 Eastern, 3 Central and Pacific. American champion Todd Eldridge and an elite field of skating's blazing young stars will be going on Sudafed Skate America as well. 3rd and 11. Druckenmiller stands in there and gets the ball to his fullback Edmonds, but a good play by Anthony Poindexter keeps Edmonds well short of the first down.
Anthony Poindexter's come in and done a nice job for this Virginia defense this year. He's playing him at outside linebacker. He's been a safety. They moved him up, and they used some different coverages with him in the ball game, and he's actually the 3rd leading tackler on the team.
Well, it looks like Virginia Tech's going to go for it on 4th down and about 5 as Druckenmiller is still out there with the offense. They have the ball at the 33 of Virginia. 6:44 to go in the second quarter, and Virginia leading by a point. Virginia Tech is 4 of 12 on 4th down conversion. Almost intercepted by Rondé Barber. The pass intended for Cornelius White. And Virginia will take over on down.
Good job by Barber that time outside, just kind of waiting, then he makes his move. Almost picks off another ball here. You see Jim Druckenmiller, he's going to look to the outside and throw the ball outside, thinking he's got his receiver open. And Barber with his great speed, he's on the track team with his brother. Say these guys can run, and comes up and almost makes a nice play.
Tim Sherman still in there at quarterback, even though Mike Groh came out of the locker room and appeared to be not limping. Sherman done a pretty good job in relief. Gives to Medley, the fullback, and Medley gets 5 or 6 yards out to the 39 before Jeff Holland, number 74, brings him down. Darrell Medley has done an excellent job when they've called on him to run the football, but his primary job has been blocking for both Brooks and Barber, and boy, has he done a great job of that.
He sure does. He does a good job of that. When he does carry the football, he gets 4 to 5 yards a carry. That's very, very good for a fullback.
2nd and short. Hooks near the first down. He needed to get across the 43. Cornell Brown, number 58, made the tackle, and it's going to be real close.
Virginia's running at this Virginia Tech defense, and doing a nice job of it.
We want to remind you that at the conclusion of today's game, we're going to be selecting a genuine Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. And to date, Chevrolet has contributed almost $5.5 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. 1st and 10 as he got just enough. Sherman has time and completes it to Allen, who gets away. Allen gets blasted in the head as he goes out of bounds. There's no flag, but Pete Allen takes exception to it as Myron Newsom was one of those who got him out of bounds, and now the Virginia sideline was not a good place to pull that.
And Pete Allen is one of those fiery type guys for Virginia, and he's come in and done a really nice job at the receiver position and catching the ball. Does a nice job that time. He actually eluded man coverage from the corner who had bump and run coverage on and got around him, and I don't think the cornerback liked that, so he took a little extracurricular activity on the sideline. See, you can see the quarterback here, Tim Sherman, looks right outside. He knows he's got a receiver out there. And little Pete Allen just turns him around and gets upfield and makes the play, and here you see him come to the sideline at us. We'll see the play here. Oh, that's just a little much out of play.
To the head.
Yeah.
No flag on the play, and that's surprising because usually when a player goes to the head like that, there is a flag, and the officials are talking about it. We didn't see anybody throw a flag. Now let's see what Al Hines says. Now he wants to say we're taking time out, and they're just saying 1st down. I don't see any indication of a penalty, and again, remember, we do not have a referee's microphone
I think
so we
Newsom,
aren't going to be getting any explanation.
Newsom, Steve, was probably trying to knock the ball up from underneath him. Really got him in the head, but it looked to the guys at Virginia and the fans here on this side of the field that it was a strike to the head. I really think he's trying to knock the football out. These Virginia Tech defensive players are coached to make big plays out in the open field and strip the football, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Well, obviously, there were at least 2 officials there. And Al Hines running back and forth here, making sure everybody's in the loop. They have made a ruling, and I think that's what they're trying to communicate to both sidelines.
Nonetheless, it was a very big play by the Virginia offense, and Tim Sherman is doing a very nice job filling in here for Mike Groh, and Tom O'Brien is doing a nice job of play calling, giving his quarterback an opportunity to succeed, and that's exactly what's happening here for Tim Sherman. You see the numbers he's put up today. 7 completions out of 8 for 96 yards and a touchdown. Plus, you can throw on there the extra point conversion. That's a nice day for that young quarterback.
First and 10 at the 31. Pressure, but Sherman gets it off. Touchdown, Virginia. Germane Crowell. A 31-yard strike by backup quarterback Tim Sherman, and what a story he is, with only 1 incompletion and now a couple of touchdowns.
Watch the right of your screen. You're going to see the pressure coming at him. Picked up nicely by Brooks on the backfield. Throws the ball outside and deep. Crowell gets behind the defender. Touchdown, Virginia. I tell you, Tim Sherman has really come in and done a nice job here for this Virginia offense.
Larry Green with the coverage, but what a good job by Germane Crowell to get away from him, and Sherman laid it up there beautifully as Rafael Garcia adds another extra point. And Virginia now leads it 22-14. We have 5:20 to go in the second quarter. And we'll be back in just a minute. Another scene here on this beautiful campus in Charlottesville. This is the chapel, the UVA chapel on campus. One of the many historic and beautiful buildings here in Charlottesville. Well, Germane Crowell making his presence felt, but I'll tell you what another good throw by Tim Sherman, who is 7 of 8 for 127 yards and 2 TDs since coming in for injured Mike Groh here in the first half.
And this is what they've done when they scored 20 points or more. They're 8-0, and looks like 17 is a good number today. Bryan Still for Virginia Tech has had a nice day, and Crowell here for Virginia. These two receivers are really the catalyst for these offenses in this ballgame.
Well, it's getting to be where Rafael Garcia is one of the busier guys for Virginia here as he'll kick off again. Antonio Banks back again for Tech. Antonio Banks is a defensive back who has not returned kickoffs that much until this game. And he may not get a chance to return this one as Garcia hits it over the end line on the fly. Coming up at halftime, it's the Prudential halftime report. John Saunders will be there with scores and highlights from all of today's action for you, and we'll whip around the country to preview the second games of our ABC College Football doubleheader today. Well, Jim Druckenmiller's had a pretty good day himself. He's thrown a couple of bombs, 51 and 59 yards that have resulted in touchdowns. But now Tech finds themselves, after leading 14-7, down 22-14 here in the second quarter. Oxendine, nowhere to go. Maybe a half a yard is all. Todd White, 91, led the charge for the Cavaliers. Let's get a report from Chip on the sidelines. Chip Tarkenton.
Well, let's update you on Mike Groh. I just got finished talking with him. He said he's not going to come back definitely till the second half. He wants to play, but then he said if Tim Sherman keeps playing this well, there's no need in me taking the field. So he wants to try to get back in. Andre McNeil hurt his back. That's what happened to him, but he could go back in the game. He's all right, they say, so he should be expected to be back on the field.
Boy, that's good news, Chip. It certainly looked more serious than that. Well, good news on both accounts for Virginia. A magnanimous statement from Mike Groh. Oxendine picking his way, but he cannot get away from Jamie Sharper. Sharper got a hold of him and wasn't about to let go.
This Virginia defense is really rising right now, doing a nice job here against this running attack of Virginia Tech. You'll see Oxendine, they're running the old counter trail play here. The guard tackle pulls around. Good job here by the defense, and you see Oxendine picking his way, and Sharper hangs on for the tackle. The rest of his guys are coming. These guys, a couple of downs here. They only get 2 yards on 2 carries. It's a good job by the defense, and Rick Lance is a big part of that here, their defensive coordinator.
3rd and 7. From the shotgun. Over the middle, in and out of the hands of Germane Holmes, who could not hold on. And Virginia Tech will have to punt it away.
One of those things where you have a receiver come across the middle. I think Holmes saw the middle linebacker. Didn't want to have any part of that catch, Steve.
Once again, we remind you we will be selecting a genuine Chevrolet Most Player of the game. That'll be one from each team. We'll do that sometime in the 4th quarter. Tiki Barber back for John Thomas's punt, and Thomas's punt hangs up there beautifully. Barber does not call for the fair catch, and he almost broke it. He got to the 45, a 41-yard punt, and Barber, gambling, almost got the big payoff. Tony Morrison knocked him down, or he might have gone all the way.
Tiki Barber wants that football. He wants to make a big play, and probably should have called for the fair catch in that situation, but he knows his ability, and got him a few extra yards on the punt return.
Tim Sherman still in there at quarterback for Virginia. Frank Beamer hoping that his excellent defense can rise to the occasion. And a fumble on the exchange. Barber just falls on it along with Sherman, and wisely
well, this Tech defensive front, I tell you, this is what they do well. They're second in the nation against the rush, and Virginia's going to have their hands full here with this front. These guys, they tackle behind the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you, they have 112 tackles for the season behind the line of scrimmage and 44 sacks. This group can get behind the line of scrimmage and make plays.
One thing I really don't think they've done that much so far is got to the quarterback. They also are good at pass rushing, and both Groh and Sherman have had time. Sherman stepping up, firing, incomplete, intended for Barber, and off his hands. And Sherman took a shot.
George Del Rico came around from his middle linebacker position and just gave Tim Sherman a shot. I tell you, watch him here. He's going to see it from his backside. It's play action. He's throwing back. Now you see George Del Rico comes here and gets him right under the chin.
Oh, baby.
That was a shot, folks.
Good night.
It's a very vulnerable spot for a quarterback. He has no protection there, and he has no way to know that the guy is coming. And George Del Rico just made a nice clean hit, but hit him in the most vulnerable spot that a quarterback has. George Welsh is wondering, what am I going to do? I'm down. My top quarterback is out of the game, and now my second quarterback is possibly out of the game. And Mike Groh may be forced back into action here.
Well, that was a knockout punch. And under the circumstances, with Groh already having been injured.
Steve, I don't see anybody warming up on the sidelines here for Virginia as far as a quarterback. So maybe Mike Groh is up there and ready to go. He is. He's on the 35-yard line. I see him talking to Tom O'Brien.
Well, they've got Sherman sitting up now and probably asking him if he knows his name and where he is. While they attend to him, let's get a quick word about halftime from John Saunders.
Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll have highlights of number 2 Ohio State, number 3 Florida, and number 4 Tennessee. We'll also preview the regional games we'll have at 3:30 Eastern Time. It's at halftime.
Thank you, John. Well, Sherman is off for a play at least, and Mike Groh is on to the cheers of the crowd. And we'll see if Groh stays in or if Sherman comes back. Sherman would have to leave anyway for at least one play. It is 3rd and 16. And Groh has great protection and lofts it long, and it's incomplete, intended for Brian Owen. He overthrew him a little bit. Lauren Johnson, number 12, back there in coverage. And Virginia will have to kick it away on 4th down.
Mike had a little blitz on his left side there. He saw man coverage, decided to throw the ball deep, try to make the big play, which they've been able to do today, and just got that one out there a little bit too far for the receiver. Maybe his adrenaline was pumping a little bit too much to get back in that football game. This is a contest these guys really want to play in.
Will Bryce to punt, and Larry Green back for Tech, standing near his 20. Bryce left puts it out of there. It's a high kick. Green with a fair catch. Now he lets it bounce. And it's going to be downed at about the 26 by Joe Rowe, number 18. We have 2:39 left to go in the second quarter. Again, we're bringing you up to date on scores as Michigan has scored against Penn State. Virginia leading Virginia Tech 22-14, and Tech will start from their own 26. We had another injury on the field. That was the side judge. One of the officials, George Cullen, was injured. He has left the field. So we've probably got an alternate official out there. I hope he, too, is not seriously injured. Kentucky leading Tennessee in the second quarter. Shotgun on 1st down for Druckenmiller. And he completes it. Jumping out of bounds is Bryan Still in front of James Ferrier, who was covering him. And it's a gain of about 5.
That's a mismatch that Virginia Tech would like to have Still on a linebacker and have him out there in the open spaces. And I don't think the linebackers are supposed to cover wide receivers, Steve. At least when I played, they weren't.
Well, I'm sure that's not what kind of duty you wanted to draw. You saw Florida State leading Maryland. A win by Florida State would tie Virginia for the conference championship in the ACC. 2nd and 5. Again, the shotgun. Complete to the fullback, Brian Edmonds, and Edmonds appears to be just ahead of the marker for a 1st down.
Nice job by the Virginia Tech offensive line, giving Jim Druckenmiller a chance to see the field and look around and try to move a little bit if he has to. And they did a nice job of holding Virginia's pass rush out of there and actually had a lot of time to throw the football. Bryan Still was on the opposite side of the field, came all the way across. If he had seen him behind, he had another 15 or 20 yards on an easy reception.
And the only guy that got through there was 55 Eddie Robertson, who finally put some pressure on Druckenmiller. Rolling again, firing, and still can't hang on. He had it in his hands at the 45, and Rondé Barber hit him to make sure he did not hold on. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
Steve, these are two very well-coached football teams. These offensive systems that they have are pretty intricate. Rick Lance, his defensive system here for Virginia is also pretty good. These guys, they move around. They change their fronts on defense. They go from a 7-man, 8-man. He told me he didn't have a 9-man front package, which is bringing the safeties up. really hanging those cornerbacks out there by themselves.
Well, I guess so. Second and 10 from the 37. Inside handoff to Thomas. And Dwayne Thomas with a hand on the face mask goes down at the 32. Dwayne Ashman, number 94, reached in and got a hand on a face mask. We'll see whether it is the minor or the flagrant variety in the view of the officials. Ashman at 270, a junior out of Silver Spring, Maryland. And here's Al Hines. Holding on the offense and a face mask on the defense, so they offset.
Yeah, the penalties are going to negate each other. You're going to see here the face mask here towards the end of the play. Ashman runs up, and there it is.
Come back here. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing Ashman let go, because that can be a dangerous thing. He grabbed, but didn't twist him around too badly. So it's second and 10 again, and the ball is still at the 37 after the offsetting penalties. The fullback, Marcus Parker, running hard and spinning off one tackler, getting it out to about the 42. Paul London, number 5, came up from the secondary to make the stop.
Virginia Tech is not a big option running football team, but they run it just enough to keep you honest. Give it to the big fullback there, and Jim Druckenmiller actually took a pretty good shot as he stepped down the line and faked the option. Quarterback has to take it on the chin sometimes, Dave.
Timeout called on the field. Stops the clock with 1:33 to go in the half. Virginia Tech using their first timeout. They have 2 remaining. We'll take a minute to bring you up to date on some other programming coming up here on ABC.
Total yardage here for both these teams. It's pretty much through the air. Virginia Tech with the 2 big plays to Bryan Still, and then Virginia 218 yards. That's pretty much with their quarterback in there, Tim Sherman. And I assume that hopefully he'll be back in the ball game if need be.
Only 29 yards rushing for Virginia against this Virginia Tech defense. But kind of a surprise that Tech has given up that much yardage overall, and a tribute to Virginia's offense here in the first half as they lead 22-14. 3rd and 5 for Tech. Fake screen one way, throw the other, no way. Marcus Parker blasted by number 42, James Ferrier. John Harris was in Druckenmiller's face, but Ferrier didn't take the fake.
No, he didn't. Rick Lance had a man coverage on that time, and Ferrier has the back. You'll see it on the left side of your screen here. Ferrier's going right with him, and anytime you throw a screen to a linebacker side who's got the back in the backfield, he can go up and make the play.
John Thomas to punt, Tiki Barber back, and a high hanger. Barber's going to let it drop, and it takes a Virginia Tech roll down near the 10. It'll roll at about the 11.5. That's a 46-yard punt with no return. We have 1:16 left to go in the first half, and Virginia now will go back on offense, and Sherman will be the quarterback. So apparently Tim Sherman was not shaken up too badly, as Groh had come in for just a 1 play.
I think it's a good call to put Sherman back in the ballgame. He's had the hot hand, and if Groh is a little gimpy on his leg, let's let a guy who's got everything going for him out there, and hopefully he'll be fine with it.
Virginia has a very good record when they lead at the half, and they are leading now. They have the ball, and Barber cuts outside. Out to about the 19. Not necessarily where that play was designed to go.
Well, that's the vision I talked about Tiki Barber this season. His vision improved in the offseason, and he finds the hole. Tiki Barber's just a little draw play, and he's looking to his left. I think if he comes to the outside, he's got a blocker there. He tries to cut back. He probably could have gotten to the sideline a little more yardage, but he decided to turn it up. Nonetheless, a good play for the Virginia offense.
He gained 8. It's 2nd and 2. Medley, the fullback, maybe a yard to the 20. Maybe not. Tony Morrison again making the stop, number 8. Morrison, a sophomore from Chesapeake, Virginia. And timeout called by Virginia Tech again. They have used their 2nd of 3 timeouts. 25 seconds remaining in the half. Barber had lost yardage early on carries in this game. Now he's at positive yardage. He's carried 9 times and he's gained only 10 yards. So
not the day that he'd like to have, and not what I really expected to see from Tiki Barber. But I give credit to Tom O'Brien. He has spread the ball around the play-action passing game and given a chance for Tim Sherman to get out of the pocket and find the receivers. There's other guys stepping up to the plate here, and Tiki Barber's not being asked to carry the load right now. You take a look at Tom O'Brien. Really impressed with this coach. I mean, he's really got a knack for finding a way to attack a defense, and that's what he's doing against Virginia Tech. George Welsh is probably very pleased with his offense performance right now. And when you lose your starting quarterback in a ball game, and Tim Sherman has stepped in and done as well as he has, that just goes to tell you how well these teams are coached. And oftentimes during practice, these players don't have an opportunity to get reps in the game. And Tim Sherman, I'm sure, doesn't get many reps. I watched practice on Thursday, and he didn't take any snaps. Mike Groh took the whole practice, but for him to step into the ball game on short notice and do a good job says that this team is a very well-coached football team.
Tiki Barber trying to get outside. He had some help, but I'll tell you what, those Tech men aren't going to let it happen. That front is so tough against the run. J.C. Price, number 59, stringing it out. And he had some help from his white-shirted buddies. There were 4 or 5 guys just making sure that corner was not going to be turned.
Virginia Tech wants the football back. That's why they're calling the timeouts here. They feel like they can get the ball back with an opportunity to make a big play, maybe throw the ball down the field to Bryan Still, or even perhaps block the punt. Early in the ball game, the first punt that they went after, they overloaded one side and really got very close to blocking Bryce's punt. So you may look for these guys to come after the punt again here in this situation.
And you see Tiki lost a yard there. So now he's only gained a positive 8.
Yeah, well, Tiki, he's had to go up against his Virginia Tech rushing defense, which is 2nd in the nation. And I talked about at the beginning of the telecast how well this team makes tackles for loss. Well, they've had 6 tackles for loss against Virginia right now, and that's exactly what they like to do: get penetration, get in the backfield, make something happen on the other side of the line of scrimmage and negative yardage for the offense.
Virginia Tech has used their final timeout of the first half to stop the clock with 18 seconds. That'll force Virginia to kick the ball on 4th and 4.
The thing that Virginia has to be very careful with here is excellent punt protection. You have to block first, cover second. But I tell you, that's not an easy job either, Steve. And he's going to receive the ball near midfield, and Bryce is one of the best punters here in the ACC.
Well, earlier in the game, Bryce hit one over 50 yards and sort of out-kicked the coverage, and Green brought it back. He's got the wind behind him as he booms this one out of there. Boy, what a kick. Green all the way back to the 27. But again, he's got room. There's a block in the back, and the flag is down. As Green got it back to the 45, now we got 2 flags down as one goes down after the play. Jamie Sharper ran him out of bounds. But what a boomer by Bryce. A 57-yard punt. He's had about 17 over 50 yards this year.
Okay, that's a weapon. Bryce is a great punter. He kicks the ball out of the, when you're backed up deep to give yourself field position. That's what happened there. But luckily for Virginia, they're going to get the penalty here on the return because they set up a pretty good return with a wall to the near side. And Sharper knocked him out of bounds. But it was probably, about a 15, 20-yard return, Steve, close to that?
Yeah, at least he got it out to the 45. May have been close to a 20-yard return. Now we got one penalty accepted and the other obviously declined, and they're going to take the one that gives them the most yardage. This is where not having a referee's mic is a problem, because he's giving some explanation that nobody except somebody standing next to him can hear. So he might as well save his breath.
Well, George Welsh is down there, and George hasn't changed expressions the whole ball game.
He never does.
He's got his arms folded. He's got that look on his face, and what does it take for him to smile?
Well, the penalty that was accepted moved the ball back to the 35. So Tech has just 6 seconds now, and they're just going to run Thomas straight ahead, and he gains some yardage as the first half comes to an end. Big plays. One key turnover, and the kicking game and field position is always playing a big part. But the big plays have helped as Virginia leads 22-14 at halftime. And it is usually the third quarter, Gary, of a ball game, especially one like this where there's a lot of emotion and rivalry, that decides the game. In a game like this, who comes out in the third quarter and takes command generally has the best chance to win.
I talked about these coaching staffs really having these teams ready to play, and they are well coached. But this is where the coaches really come into play. They go in at halftime, they find some adjustments, things that need to be made offensively and defensively, and the teams that could come out of the huddle, come out of the locker room, in the third quarter and execute, it's going to be a better day for those guys.
Stay with us and stay tuned for the Prudential halftime report coming up next.
The Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. When you face the most important financial decisions of your life, turn to the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock. From our New York studios, your host, John Saunders.
Welcome back to the Prudential Halftime Report. You're watching Game 1 of our doubleheader at 3:30 Eastern Time. 5 games of regional interest. We have previews beginning with Keith Jackson in Los Angeles.
When you want to know something about a traditional rivalry like USC and UCLA, you ask the man, Coach John Robinson of the Trojans. Pretty good ball game coming up.
Oh, I think a very good ball game. The only game in town these days. And, you know, what's unique about this game is that it's an inner city. So there are families, husbands and wives, one a Bruin, one a Trojan, brothers that have been on opposite sides. So it's got a unique flavor in that it's the city championship, which doesn't happen anywhere else.
That won't be an earthquake you hear about. That'll just be the usual when the Trojans and Bruins get together. Now here's Mark Jones.
Ironic, isn't it? Northwestern Avenue here at Purdue University, just a few yards from Ross-Ade Stadium as the Wildcats and the Boilermakers get set to hook up. Look at this, the Boilermakers special trying to derail this dream season for the Wildcats. And Mr. Engineer Todd Blackledge, what a dream year it's been for Northwestern.
Well, it really has, Mark. A win in this ball game would be an undefeated Big Ten record and the school's first ever 10-win season, but they faced the prospects of stopping the #1 running offense of Purdue without their leading tackler, linebacker Pat Fitzgerald, out with the broken leg.
Northwestern entertaining hopes of making it to the Rose Bowl. Have you figured out how to get this thing to the stadium?
Ready to roll.
Let's go, my man. Let's check in with Terry Gannon.
Here in Baton Rouge, Mike the Fifth, the Tiger mascot, getting rested up for the big matchup with Arkansas today. And Tim Brandt, it's the SEC West champion that comes a calling this afternoon.
And Arkansas is trying to gain momentum for that championship game against Florida. Also, this game is huge for LSU because LSU needs the 6th win to be eligible for a bowl game.
LSU trying for their first winning season since 1988. And one other note, the last 4 Tiger mascots have passed away after non-winning seasons here in Baton Rouge. Mike the Fifth will be cheering for the Tigers today. Right now, we take it to Gary Gerald.
During Coach Lavelle Edwards' 24 years at BYU, they've won a national championship, 16 WAC titles. They've gone to 19 bowl games. Today, traditional rival Utah makes the 45-mile trek down from Salt Lake City to try to keep the Cougars from adding another trophy to their very impressive display here in the football offices. We expect a high-scoring aerial circus in this one today, but one of the keys for the Cougars is to stop Utah's other primary weapon. That's true freshman running back Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala. He's the smallest in his family. Yes, the scale is right. Wow. The stakes are high here in Provo, a must-win for the BYU Cougars. Now let's go to Roger Twibel.
I'm in a wheat field just north of the campus of Kansas State University. Of course, Kansas is known for its wheat, and the winter wheat crop has just been planted, but an unusual phenomenon is occurring. We're finding cotton all over this wheat field and all over the town of Manhattan, Kansas. The reason is that the Cotton Bowl will likely take the winner of the game later today between Kansas State and Colorado. K-State's never been to a New Year's Day bowl game. They've only won 10 games once before in their history, and not to discount the Buffaloes, but they've been to a lot of New Year's Day bowl games. We've got 2 top 10 teams. It's going to be a terrific football game, and the winner in all likelihood will be seeing cotton. Now, John, this is not my usual wheat field attire.
Come on, Roger, I know there's no dirt under those fingernails. Now check local listings in your area to find out which game will be available to you. And we, of course, will keep you up to date on all the games. We'll continue with the Prudential Halftime Report in a moment. 22-14 is the lead, Virginia over Virginia Tech. The second half still to come, but we have time for scores and highlights, and we'll go to the Big Ten with the #2 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, facing Indiana and trying to remain unbeaten. Alan Satowski's punt is blocked by Alonzo Shavers, and that would lead to Bobby Hoying. The quarterback goes to work, and Terry Glenn, is his shoulder okay? It appears to be, as he gets that one and crashes to the earth. 7-0. Then Hoying 4 yards to Terry Glenn to the 1. He does the rest of the work, trots it over. 14-3 at that point. Eddie George, probably the leader in the Heisman Trophy race right now, a 1-yard touchdown run. 21-3, the Ohio State Buckeyes have the lead. Vanderbilt against Florida. The Gators still hoping for a national championship. Danny Werfel, 19 yards to Chris Doering, one of his favorite targets. 14-0 was the score at that point. Terry Jackson also has a 9-yard touchdown run. Florida leading Vandy 14-0. Tennessee is struggling against Kentucky. Already down in the game, Mo Williams had a 6-yard touchdown run, but this is a pass that sets it up. Mo Williams with a terrific day. Here he goes as he takes the little feed here and trots his way across for the touchdown. And then Tennessee's Peyton Manning is picked off for the first time in 132 attempts. Peyton Manning gets picked off, and then Mo Williams again takes the pitch and goes in for the touchdown. Kentucky leads it 17-6. Mo Williams with the 2 touchdown runs. We, of course, will keep you up to date on this one. It would be a huge upset. Kentucky has lost to Vanderbilt this year. Vanderbilt's only win of the year, and right now they lead Tennessee. Maryland against Florida State. Bobby Bowden still has a shot for the national title. Things would have to fall into place. Danny Cannell, 17 yards to E.G. Green. Makes it a 14-0 lead. Scott Milanovich, he's a quarterback, and he's also the punter. Fakes the punt, finds Walt Williams, 33 yards on the touchdown, 14-7. Warwick Dunn, though, 24 yards, busts this one through. Is there a quicker back in college football? Touchdown, I think 31-10 is the score in this one. Pooh Bear Williams also has 2 touchdowns on the ground. Now, it appears Ray Goff is out as head coach at Georgia. Vince Dooley, the athletic director, said before the start of the season he wanted big improvement in the team. Right now, they're 5-5 overall, 3-5 in the SEC. In fairness to Goff, his team has been beaten up and injured. Now, possible successors, Wayne Hall, he's an assistant at Auburn, and Pat Sullivan, the head coach at TCU. TCU in action against Texas today, and right now they're down. 10-3 is the score there. James Brown with a school record 19 touchdown passes, looking to add to that. Michigan and Michigan State. Wally Richardson, 14 yards to Mike Archie. Watch the nice little block there. That gets him into the end zone as Penn State went up 10-7. But then Brian Greasy goes 19 yards to Amani Toomer. Michigan marches downfield and comes right back to make it a 10-7 game. Late in the half, Penn State added a field goal, and 13-7 is the lead. Brett Conway's 2 field goals, 51 yards and 49 yards. It was the 51-yarder that made it 13-7. Boston College against Syracuse. Marvin Harrison has a 62-yard punt return for a touchdown. Second time he's done that this season, 37-15. Rob Conrad, the freshman, 2 touchdown runs and a touchdown reception. Clemson against South Carolina. Steve Tannehill, little 7-yard pass here to Monty Means. South Carolina takes the lead 7-0. But Emory Smith, that's Emmett's little brother, punches this one across to tie the game at 7 apiece, and that's where it stands now in the second quarter. Iowa against Wisconsin, a couple of teams that started the season with high hopes, and Iowa actually got off to a 5-0 start. Wisconsin struggled a bit at the beginning, and right now Iowa has the lead 24-7 after losing 4 consecutive games. The Hawkeyes trying to fight out of this one, 24-7, as Cedric Shaw has 2 touchdown runs. Memphis and East Carolina, Cadre Anderson, a 1-yard touchdown run, but Jarris McPhail, a 6-yard touchdown run. East Carolina's come back and leads it 10-7. Akron against Miami of Ohio. Remember, Miami of Ohio is the only team to beat Northwestern this year, and they're blowing out Akron 44-0 is score there. Sam Ricketts, the quarterback, has 4 touchdown passes in the first quarter, 44-zip. Princeton against Dartmouth. Princeton, with a win, would clinch at least a tie for the Ivy League title. Right now it is scoreless in the second quarter. Harvard and Yale, always a big matchup. Throw out the records. Vin Ferreira, 25 yards to Kobe Skelton. 7-0, Harvard takes the lead. Then Keena Heffernan goes in from 4 yards out. That's right, Keena Heffernan. 7-6 is the score at that point. Yale has added a field goal, 9-7. Yale has the lead. Harvard on a 7-game losing streak. UMass against UConn. UConn's lost 3 of their last 4, but they lead UMass 7-0. This would be a terrific basketball matchup, but the coaches somehow cannot get together and play this one, but maybe they'll get it done. Delaware and Rhode Island. Delaware ranked number 8 in the Division I AA poll, and Delaware leads at 7-3. The winner of this one is definitely headed to the playoffs. Let's listen to the Virginia band now and look at some more scores from around the nation, including Duke and North Carolina tied at 14 apiece as Leon Johnson has a 2-yard touchdown run. Spence Fisher, a 7-yard touchdown pass. Florida has added a field goal, 25-yarder. 17-0 is the lead.
The Prudential Halftime Report.
Versus story we'll be following for the rest of the day here on ABC Sports. Troy Davis of Iowa State needing just 79 yards to break Lorenzo White's sophomore record. But more importantly, he's closing in on 2,000 yards, needing just 170 to reach that. Here's a look at the list of the guys who've gotten there. Barry Sanders, Marcus Allen, Mike Rozier, and Rashawn Salam. The key note, each of those gentlemen went on to win the Heisman Trophy Award. It's time now to announce the recipients of the Burger King Scholar Athlete of the Week. Each week, a Burger King will donate $25,000 to the General Scholarship Fund in each winner's college or university. This week's winners are in Division 1A, Justin Konzemis from the University of Minnesota. Justin has a 3.66 GPA in business management and marketing. Division 1 AA winner is Haishima Northern from Southern University. Division 2, Jeff Turnage from IUP. Division 3, Nathan Hutchings from Eureka College. Congratulations to all these fine student athletes. Remember, stop by your local Burger King restaurant for details on the College Football Scholarship Fund.
Welcome back to Charlottesville. Steve Zabriskie along with Gary Reasons and Chip Tarkington on the sidelines, where Virginia stormed back after trailing early to lead 22-14 here at halftime, and we're getting ready for the kickoff of the second half. Here are the stats from the first half of play, and Virginia, Gary, with 254 yards in the first half against a pretty good defense.
That's pretty impressive, and it's mostly been through the air, 218 yards as you see there. They're not rushing the ball very much. This Virginia Tech defense is stingy against the rush, but they have thrown the ball effectively, and consequently, they've gotten some points out of it. Virginia Tech has thrown the ball well also. These two receivers, Crowell and Still for Virginia Tech, have done very good job for these guys, and we're seeing some big plays in the passing game today, and probably a little different than what we might have expected.
Antonio Banks back to receive the kickoff from Garcia. Banks going to bring it out to the 27 before he is tripped up by Andre McNeil, who was injured earlier, and we heard that McNeil would be back when he hurt his back, and he's out there, and that's a good sign.
Well, we talked about at the beginning of the ball game to get the carries up for Tiki Barber. He's only had it 10 times for 8 yards, and Keep Oxendine under 80 yards, and he's only had 17 yards. Virginia Tech, they do work the field pretty good. They have the multiple formations and personnel groups we talked about, and their defense is doing a good job. Virginia Tech is making tackles for loss. But right now, the big story in the game is the passing game for Virginia and for Virginia Tech, making big plays down the field.
Edmondson Thomas in the backfield behind Druckenmiller. Dwayne Thomas looking for a hole and finding nothing. James Ferrier, as usual, number 42, leading the Virginia charge.
They're asking for somebody to come out and look at one of the players. I see Jim Druckenmiller's numbers for the first half.
It's a Virginia Tech lineman who is injured on the play.
Yeah, it's a center, Billy Conity. You take a look at it and see what happened to Billy here. Look at the center of your screen. He's the center snapping the ball. He's taking over to get the tackle, and it's going to be the right side of your screen. Maybe we'll see what happens to him right at the end of the play here. Yep, somebody falls on his right ankle, and he gets pushed back. Kind of a tough position to be in for an offensive lineman. Those are the kind of injuries that those guys get in the trenches, Steve. They're pushing all the time, and then somebody from behind usually will fall on them and roll them up, and the defensive guy who's continuing to push, there's no pressure anymore, so he then takes him back over, and oftentimes will cause a lower leg injury.
As soon as you get one of those legs out from under you, you can't push back anymore, and you're at the mercy of your body position. So Conity apparently with the leg injury, and they're working on the right leg. Well, here's Virginia Tech's first half possessions, and the bombs that they threw, a 59 and a 51-yarder, when they started on their third and fourth possessions, are what set up 2 touchdowns. But other than that, they didn't have a lot of positive results.
Yeah, they punted the ball several times, and you talked about the big plays in the passing game to Still that set up the touchdowns. And losing this guy, this center, who's been there, like I said, early in the ball game. He's a junior, and he started every game since he's been with the Hokies. He's a big loss there, big anchor of that line. I talked to him a little bit before on practice on Thursday out here, and really a nice young man.
So he requires some help, and at 295, it takes a couple of guys.
That it would.
To help him. And we'll have Chip try to get us a report on the status of his injury.
And Tim Wade is coming in there to replace him at center. He's the backup center for him.
Wade, number 72, 2nd and 10 as Thomas gained nothing. And he has the ball again. Percy Ellsworth turns him back the other way, and then Dwayne Ashman grabs him and hauls him down. Good job by 27 Ellsworth to come up and turn that play in, and Ashman was able to grab hold as Thomas went by.
The Virginia defensive front, they don't make as much penetration as Virginia Tech on their defensive front, but what they do a good job of is they string the play out, and they wait for the speed with their linebackers and their secondary to come up and make the plays, and that's what they've done all day today.
3rd and 8, the ball just outside the 28 of Tech. Early in the third quarter, Druckenmiller from the shotgun. Pump fake. Trying to go long. Jump ball. Who's got it? Who's got it?
Rondé Barber. That's who has it.
Barber has it, but then we saw no signal from an official as Barber went up along with Bryan Still. And now they say it is Virginia's ball.
Jim Druckenmiller has nobody in his face here. The coverage is pretty good here. Rondé Barber, I watched the play from the field, and he's just laying and waiting for the ball. He steps in front, makes a play, times his jump, pulls it away from the receiver Still, does a nice job on the interception. Rondé Barber here, he's just waiting for the ball to come down. He's got tremendous speed, folks. He can get up and make a nice play like that. He is used to playing the football, and that's what Rondé Barber does. I think that's his 4th interception on the year, and he had 8 a year ago.
Bryan Still had that ball, and Barber took it away from him. That is the 28th straight game that Virginia has had a pick. 1st and 10. Mike Groh back in at quarterback, and Barber's not going anywhere. Tiki Barber hit in the backfield by Jim Barron, number 92, and driven back. And it's unusual that Mike Groh is in there because we had heard during halftime in a report from Chip Tarkington that they really would prefer that Mike Groh not go back in. And as you pointed out, Sherman was having a hot hand.
He sure did, and Mike came out before the game, before the second half started, and I watched him while the referees were out there with the captains, and Mike was doing some rollouts and passing the ball. It seemed like he didn't have any problems on the leg, so they're going with their proven starter and Mike Groh.
Well, he wanted to go back in, that's for sure. Play action on 2nd down. Complete to the 41-yard line. Germane Crowell hit immediately by Torian Gray, the strong safety, number 14, not to be confused with the guy who has the painting in the attic.
Well, that's the timing that Mike Groh has with Germane Crowell. These guys have been playing together for a number of weeks now. And when you can get out there and do that time in and time out, that's what happens here. You see Groh on the play action fake, and then Crowell just comes right across. Nice opening there for the passing lane, and Groh gets it in there too.
1st down, Virginia. Groh again, now under pressure, gets it away, and he is dumped. He is smashed by J.C. Price as he got the ball away.
Looked like they were trying to set up a little slip screen there to Barber to the weak side, and I think they let the lineman come through just a little bit too quick on Mike Groh, and he's trying to do a pump fake to the right and then throw it back to his left side. Didn't even have a chance to make the fake to the right. The defense, led by Price there, came up and made a nice play on Mike Groh.
Well, the way these guys come is Virginia Tech front 4. That's the kind of play you better hold them out a little longer because they'll take any opportunity they can.
Well, that's the kind of play that works against an aggressive team that comes up the field. You run the screens, you run the draws, take away a little bit of that aggressiveness, and that's what this Virginia offense is attempting to do.
Barber on 2nd and 10 finds a hole. 1st down. Down inside the 30. William Yarborough had to run him down in the secondary. Tiki Barber with a 30-yard run.
Well, watch Tiki here. He's going to take the ball. He's got depth. He's about 7 yards deep. He sees the hole in front of it and immediately takes to the right. He sees a good block from the center going there. And Tiki Barber's off to the races. He's got great speed. And Yarborough just drags him down, just hanging with him. Say that's a nice play. Look at him. He cuts to his right, sees the block, reads his lineman. That's what he improved this offseason, was his vision. And Tom O'Brien was telling me about that yesterday, and he's really showing his abilities today.
He ran right through Brandon Simonis. 1st and 10 inside the Tech 30. Virginia already leading. Barber again cuts it back and runs into a bunch of white shirts at about the 19. Led by George Del Rico. Myron Newsom also there.
I think that Tiki Barber, Steve, is one of those backs that he kind of gets better as the game goes on. The more you feed him the ball, the more you give him an opportunity to stretch the defense or find a little gap, he's going to make plays. When he has the ball in his hands, he's going to do that. I think he's going to get the ball more and more. He didn't get it very much in the first half. I think 8 or 9 carries in the first half. Expect to have him get the ball in his hands a lot more here in the second half.
Well, they've got the lead, and they also want to protect Mike Groh, who's already been injured. So they probably will try to run more than throw for a couple of reasons. Play action. Groh completes it. And Germane Crowell is down to the 10 in the grasp of Torian Gray. Crowell also having a big game. He's a sophomore out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and a gain of 19. And he's limping a little bit.
Well, they don't want him to go out. He's having a big day, like you said, Steve. 5 catches, 111 yards. Play-action passing is working very well for Virginia. That's what their bread and butter is. They have the bootlegs, and they have the play-action passing game with the I formation. And is running these cornerbacks off. They have to be a little tentative because of the run, and they have a chance to move in there on this play-action.
First down and goal from the 10. Barber following some blocking. Touchdown! Boy, what a job by the offensive line. Jeremy Raley, number 69, one of those, and what a good job by Barber to wait for those guys and find the hole.
Watch the left side of your screen here. You see Barber. He's just going to read the blocks, and Medley takes the linebacker all the way out. Tiki Barber finds the end zone.
Rafael Garcia for another extra point. Sherman the holder, and it's good. 10:51 to go in the third quarter. Virginia takes the ball and takes it right down the field. The lead 29-14. Back to Charlottesville after this. You have guards that can block. Jeremy Raley pulls around and seals Yarbrough to the inside. It makes the job for the running back a lot easier. This Virginia offensive line did a nice job on that series, and Jeremy Raley got around the corner and sealed for the running back to get through on the touchdown. I'll tell you what, the extra 15 pounds that Barber has put on made a big difference there, too, because he was in the grasp of Torian Gray inside the 5, and he just ran right through that tackle. He really is a lot stronger than he was last year. That was a 73-yard drive for Virginia. It took him less than 3 minutes. Garcia will kick it off to Antonio Banks. And Banks going to bring it out from about 3 or 4 yards deep. Got a wall, and he's out to about the 30 before he's run out of bounds. Let's get a quick update on the latest breaking story from John Saunders. John.
Steve, as we told you at halftime, Ray Goff is out as the head coach at Georgia. They just had a press conference. It's now over. A negotiated settlement. Goff will coach next Thursday right here on ABC, 11 o'clock Eastern time against Georgia Tech. If they go to a bowl game, he will also coach that. But Vince Dooley asked him to resign. They negotiated a settlement, so Ray Goff in his final season as head coach at Georgia. Right now, Steve, back to you.
Thank you very much, John. That's something that's been rumored for a long time. It's interesting that Gary didn't wait till the season was over. They did it now. Oxendine looking for a hole and finding nothing. He'll get a couple of yards out to about the 32, and that's all. Todd White on the stop. Hey, ABC will be kicking off your Thanksgiving weekend, as John alluded to, with great football action. Thursday at 11 Eastern, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Friday, a doubleheader kicks off. Most of you will see North Carolina and North Carolina State. Purdue will also meet Indiana, or Boston College will take on Rutgers. And then at 2:30 Eastern, Oklahoma and Nebraska in a big national showdown. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area, and check with your cable operator to see what's available for you pay-per-view. Second down. Fumbled handoff in the backfield and a loose ball. The officials are saying that Virginia Tech got it, and it'll be third down, and Chris Malone may have been the guy that recovered it, as they kicked it around between three guys.
Steve, it's just the option play, and Druckenmiller sticks it into the fullback. You can take a look here. Quarterback, he's going to turn to his right, step it, push it into the fullback, gives it to him. Oh, he doesn't take it. The fullback didn't take the ball, and is laying there on the ground. Yeah, and it was Malone who pulled it back.
So it is 3rd and 6, and Druckenmiller goes from the shotgun. Under pressure, now he heaves it long. Intercepted, picked off by London. Paul London with his 6th interception of the year.
Jim Druckenmiller thought he's going to throw it deep, and the only one who's going to catch it be his receiver. But I tell you, Joe London really lays out and makes a really nice grab. You see Druckenmiller, he's going to get away from pressure, step to his right, and really launch this one up in the air. But Joe London, watch me, extends his body, fingertip catch, and pulls it in. Nice job for Paul London, rather.
Cornelius White, the intended receiver, and he could not outrun London. So it's at the 16 of Virginia. 1st and 10 Cavaliers. Groh still in the quarterback, rolling. Now he's going to run, and he's going to slide down to get the first down out across the 26. I say, well, the coach has got to have their heart in their throat on that one, huh?
I wonder if George Welsh's expression changed when he saw Mike Groh rolling out of the pocket. He's wondering, what the heck is Mike Groh doing running with his leg the way it is?
Well, another Virginia player is shaken up.
It's Darryl Medley, I think.
Fullback Darryl Medley.
And he's been a really solid fullback for this team this year, and does a good job of blocking for Tiki Barber, and when he gets an opportunity to run the football, does a nice job there as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've had some guys shaken up, but then you would expect that in this rivalry game where the hitting is hard, and it's a good sign that Darryl is up and jogging off on his own power.
Everybody told us, Steve, coming in here, that this was going to be one very physical football game, and that's exactly what we've had. Some big hits, some big plays, guys rock them, sock them, and I tell you, we're going to have a little bit more of that before it's over, I'm sure.
Mike Groh's run gives Virginia a first down at their 27. Tiki Barber bouncing outside and close to a first down as he trips over the chains going out of bounds. Torian Gray running him out, but a gain of 8 or 9 on the play.
Tiki Barber has a lot of speed, and he just shows it right there. He's just a play-off tackle, and he sees daylight to the outside, just takes it and outruns the defense for a 9-yard gain.
Sophomore Charles Kirby, number 36, is in at fullback, replacing Medley.
Take a look here at Tiki. He steps inside, just boom, goes to the outside. He has the speed to get to the corner. Nice job there, and takes a nasty spill on the sideline there.
2nd and 1. And they run Charles Kirby. He appears to have enough of the first down before he's shoved back a little bit. Kirby at 6'1" and 235 out of Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Well, if Virginia can march the football down the field running it like they have, and I don't think they want Mike Groh to run, but they like to have their tailback and their fullback run the football. That's exactly what they like to do here. Create field position, take the ball down the field, keep it away from Virginia Tech, and you can see how Tiki Barber is really moving up the ACC single-season rushing yardage. He's got 1,393 yards and just needs about 10 or 12 more yards to get ahead of Mike Boyd for the 2nd all-time single-season rushing leader.
A little hard for him to catch Don McCauley, however, going back to 1970.
I don't think we got enough time here today, Steve.
No. Not if he had another. If he had another game, he might have a chance, but even then it would be tough. It is enough for a first down as they brought the chains out. There's Tom O'Brien, the Virginia offensive coordinator.
He's in this position the whole game. He bends down. I asked him about it yesterday, and he said, well, I just always done that, but I noticed one thing. After the games, I'm extremely sore.
I guess so. Play action on first down, and Groh's hit as he gets it away, intended for the fullback Kirby. J.C. Price got to him, number 59. And Groh gets up and appears to be all right.
Well, the problem that Mike has had with his knee is something that's not new. He's got kind of a strained or a stretched ligament in his leg, and it just gives him some pain and a little bit of swelling, as Chip commented on earlier, and he's back in the game. You see the brace on his left knee.
He started the game with that brace. That is the leg that he re-injured in the first half.
He was in practice the other day, and I went in the locker room with him to talk to him, and he took the brace right off. And I really didn't ask him about it because he seemed fine, but he's had that problem the whole season, and it's not something that's new. Luckily, he's able to play with it.
Well, 8 turnovers last year for Tech, and this year Tech turnovers have led to Virginia points as well. Flag on the snap on 2nd and 10. So Al Hines will indicate illegal procedure again against the offense.
Well, Steve, if this drive results in points off the interception by Paul London, really it's just as good as a punt. I mean, they threw the ball as far as they could down the field.
It's true.
Actually, they started their drive at the 16-yard line, and George Welsh probably said, hey, Paul, you can let that one go. You don't have to pad your stats. Maybe we'll get better return on the punt. But it was a good catch and a nice effort by Paul London.
Well, it's hard to tell those DBs not to pick that ball off. I mean, that's what they're trained to do. Darrell Medley back in the game at fullback, number 34 for Virginia. After being shaken up a couple of plays ago. 2nd down, 15 after the penalty. Groh trying to roll out, stumbled a little bit, gets it away, and Allen with another fine catch. What a job Demetrius Pete Allen has done on grabbing that ball away from defenders. Larry Green was right there with him, and it's a gain of 17 and another first down.
Well, Groh here is going to stumble as he gets out of there. He gets himself ready, and he steps and throws. Does a nice job of getting the ball.
You mean you didn't go back? What for? How old are you, Billy? I don't know. Young mostly. Why?
He might have deflected the pass, but it was a good grab that time by Allen.
Good hands. This guy only weighs 150 pounds.
He has a severely sprained ankle. He may not be back, kind of doubtful. Virginia wide out. Crowell may come back. Germane may not. They've retaped him a couple of times. They put ice on him a couple of times. He may or may not come back. He's been trying to loosen up the whole third quarter after the touchdown a few moments ago. So we got guys coming in and out. You're right. It's very physical down here.
Thanks a lot, Chip. Boy, dropping like flies. Fortunately, we haven't had any real serious injuries. Virginia and Groh. And Groh running again. Picks up a couple to about the 49. Hank Coleman gets Groh down there.
That's something Tom O'Brien told me they were going to do, is they were going to do the play action pass and only run 2 receivers out. George Welsh told us they were going to change their passing game a little bit to give a little more protection to the quarterback with this Virginia Tech offense, defense rather, the way they get upfield and try to pressure the quarterback. And that time Mike didn't have the 2 receivers out. They were covered, so he had to turn it up and run.
He picked up 2. It's 3rd and 8 from the Tech 49. And that yardage keeps piling up for the Cavaliers now. 367 total yards from the shotgun. And Groh's going to run it again. Boy, good play by 55 Myron Newsom to play off the block and make the tackle.
Same situation I talked about. It was a shotgun play, but they held everybody in for protection. They had 2 receivers out, good coverage, and Mike, all he did, looked kind of like a quarterback draw. Took it up to see what he could get out of the play, and did a nice job that time, not trying to throw the ball into coverage and get themselves in trouble. Take the field position that they've created, punt it down there, and back Virginia Tech up, give them the long field to work with.
So Will Bryce on to punt, and he's had some boomers today. You see he's averaging 46 yards. Larry Green dropping back as usual for Virginia Tech. He's at about his 10. Hardly any wind now as Bryce left puts it out of there, and it's an end-over-end job. It's going to take a wedge bounce at about the 17. It's inside the 20, though, and that's another thing Bryce can do. We've got a flag, however, back at the line of scrimmage. And we've got holding on the return team.
Is it post possession?
Well, there wasn't any possession. I mean, wait a minute. There wasn't any run back. It couldn't have been on the run back. Look at Frank Beamer. He's saying, what do you mean?
Technically, after the ball is kicked.
Possession change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if they're down the field blocking and they actually grab them, it's going to be holding and it's going to be enforced.
It's first down. It'll be assessed from the spot where the ball was dead.
Frank's had a really nice career. The past 2 to 3 years are not indicative of what his record is there. They've really done a nice job going to a couple bowls. This will be their 3rd bowl game in 3 years for the Hokies over there at Virginia Tech.
Well, now that we got it sorted out, we'll take a break with 5:34 to go in the 3rd quarter.
What, 5B doing aerobics again?
Better 4B's watching the Michigan game.
Get out of here. That's not on TV around here.
Yeah, it is across the street.
Thanks to ABC College Football on ESPN pay-per-view, your ticket to the best gridiron action is just a phone call away. Catch blockbuster matchups that you can't see in your local area.
Yes!
Give me those.
No, I'm still looking. Hey, come on. This is really silly.
You're right. You know what we gotta get?
Another pair of binoculars.
Bingo.
College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks, 36 million to people, depend on every day. Chevrolet, genuine Chevrolet. And State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Steve Zabriskie, Gary Reasons, and Chip Tarkenton with you from Charlottesville, where they're up and cheering their defense, leading 29-14 over Tech. Dwayne Thomas trying to get outside. Too much pursuit, and he will lose yardage. Skeet Jones, Jamie Sharper, Todd White, all over there.
Virginia defense just stretched it out, and Frank Beamer, he doesn't like what he's seeing, but for Frank Beamer, you have to give him credit. He's really taken this team to another level. They have 8 consecutive victories, and I found out that he is one of the 6 finalists for NCAA Coach of the Year. Good credit to what he has done at that program here at Virginia Tech.
And it's got to be a thrill for him to come back in his 9th year now after being a player there and develop this program into success. Druckenmiller from the end zone completes it to his tight end, number 81, Brian Jennings, who is out to about the 15. Joe Williams, number 23, making the play in the secondary. Jennings, 250-pounder, will be short of the first down by 5 or 6 yards.
I'll tell you, this is a big defensive series here for Virginia. If they can hold these guys backed up and get the ball back probably around midfield on a punt, it'd be a great situation for them. And conversely, for Virginia Tech, they need to move the football down the field in adverse situations. That's exactly what they're faced with right now.
Tech does not have a first down here in the second half. 3rd and 6. Druckenmiller on play action is going to run it. And he may have it. It's going to be very, very close. James Ferrier dropped him, and Druckenmiller at 6'4" reached out there with every inch he had trying to get the first down, and it appears that he did.
Well, the big, strong quarterback ran through a couple of tackles that time and stretched out as far as he could, and it did give the Hokies a first down. This is the offense that they're running at the line of scrimmage. They'll have a chance to pick up the pace here. They're down a couple of scores. They need to pick up the pace on their offense and put the pressure on Virginia's defense to respond. And that's what Virginia Tech does here. Ricky Boston, their offensive coordinator, told me that this kind of started from South Carolina where he was a year ago. He came back to Virginia Tech and installed this no-huddle type offense, which is what Florida State and the Buffalo Bills run.
Druckenmiller sliding down after gaining about 5. And let's get an update from New York and John Saunders.
Steve, this one has to do with tennis, the semifinal of the WTA Tour Championship. Steffi Graf, a straight sets winner, so she awaits the winner of Anka Huber and Brenda Schultz McCarthy. You can see that at 1 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow on ABC. Tennessee and Kentucky. Mo Williams having a terrific day. 26 yards on this touchdown run. His third of the day. For the 7th time, he's over 100 yards this year. That's a Kentucky record. They lead 24-9.
Thank you, John. Double dip on the update. Thomas cutting it back, and he's hammered as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Knocked down after a gain of 1. Todd White, number 91, making the stop. A reminder, we've got more football after this. Second half of our doubleheader coming up this afternoon featuring Arkansas LSU. Most of you will see Northwestern and Purdue. We've also got USC and UCLA and Kansas State hosting Colorado and Utah BYU. Some big regional and conference matchups coming up next after this one right here on ABC. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. 3rd and 2 for Virginia Tech. Druckenmiller going to be sacked. John Harris. And a penalty flag is down in the Tech backfield. And we have an illegal block against Virginia Tech. That will probably be declined. So Tech will have to punt it away.
Good job on 3rd down that time for Virginia. They're only rushing 3 players, and they did get enough pressure on the quarterback Druckenmiller. Actually had to hold to stop from coming in, and it's a good series there, holding these Hokies back. Bad territory, make them punt the football.
John Thomas has been busy. Tiki Barber's going to let this short punt roll, and it'll roll inside the 35. That's a 43-yard punt with no return, but Virginia has the ball and the lead. Well, it's a good way to get around campus. And when you've got a campus as beautiful as this, you want to see it all. Take your time. So a little motorized action with the leg muscles. Often the best way to do it. Also, the other factor is, as most college campuses, there ain't much parking.
No, sir.
You better have a bike, or you might as well walk. You're not going to be able to park. 1st and 10. And whistle stop play upon the snap.
We just saw a graphic of what Virginia Tech has done in the Big East this year. They've only allowed 272 yards a game in total offense, and Virginia's well over 300. So it's not a typical defensive effort for Virginia Tech.
Well, a penalty against the Cavaliers will move them back.
There's Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator, one of the co-coordinators here for the Virginia Tech defense. I'm sure he's told his defense, we have got to make some big plays on defense, cause turnovers. They're down a couple of scores. Their time is running short here in the third quarter. They've got to do what they do best, and that's attack, get upfield, cause some plays behind the line of scrimmage, and make something happen.
Well, Tiki Barber's making his presence felt. He averaged less than a yard a carry the first half. He's averaged over 9 yards a carry so far here in the third quarter. First down and 15 now. And it's Kevin Brooks in at tailback who takes the pitch, but he doesn't go very far, as there are a lot of white shirts there. Let's get an update down on the sidelines from Chip Tarkington. Chip.
Well, Steve, you know, the last time these two teams played on grass was 1972. Virginia won that contest 24-20. The AstroTurf that used to be here was ripped up this spring. All the players like this natural surface a lot better than that AstroTurf. They say the injuries are way down.
Thank you, Chip. I'll tell you what, that prescription turf they have here is really nice. The way it drains, and the field appears to be in really good shape.
The field is just completely flat. There's not a crown in it. It drains through the field. They've got a lot of rain drains built up there.
Groh on second down, tipped and incomplete. George Del Rico had his hands on it, but he could not come up with it, as the pass was intended for Brian Owen. Cornell Brown, who has been in and out of the game defensively for Tech, number 58, had some pressure that time on Mike Groh.
Well, that's what this Virginia Tech defense needs. They need Brown and the front four to pick up the pace and get back there and make things difficult for the quarterback. And that was a throw that Mike probably wanted to pull back. He didn't have an open receiver. He was throwing into coverage. You can see his numbers for today: 142 yards and 1 interception that was tipped early in the ball game. Between him and Sherman, those guys have had a heck of a football day.
Third down, 13, and Groh will go from the shotgun and a bad snap. And he was darn lucky to come up with that football. Tony Morrison threw there like a shot. Had a chance to recover that ball for Virginia Tech, but Groh fell on it. It'll be fourth down and about 30 yards to go after the loss on the bad snap.
Very unfortunate thing to have happen. Now you're backing your offense up. Your punter may be in the end zone punting the ball, and expect Virginia Tech here to pressure this punter in this situation, try to make something happen, a big play.
Larry Green back to receive Will Bryce's kick, and Bryce will have now a little bit of a wind at his back. And he booms it out of there. Green at his own 45. Trying to get to the far side. And goes down at about the 40 or 39 of Virginia. So Tech will have great field position and a fine return again by Larry Green.
Virginia Tech set up a nice punt return, a little wall to the left side. Instead of rushing and trying to create pressure on the punter, they decided to go in the return mode. Got good field position now to start this drive at the 39-yard line.
That's a 42-yard kick. And Druckenmiller will get the call from the sidelines. Bring it in. And this is about the only time you'll see Virginia Tech huddle, is when they start a drive. The ball at the 39 of Virginia. You see Virginia leading by 15 points as we near the end of the third quarter. Druckenmiller has time, completes it to the fullback, Marcus Parker, but short yardage. Anthony Poindexter, number 3, was right there with the cover.
They're just trying to spread the field here, move the football around. You're going to see the back flare out of the backfield, and Poindexter, the safety who plays linebacker now, comes up, makes a play on the outside on the fullback. Not a real dangerous play, but just something to move the football a little bit, change it up as far as who you give the ball to.
Second down, 8. Oxendine out of the backfield, slips a little bit trying to make a move, but gets inside the 30 in the grasp of Jamie Sharper, number 33.
The Virginia secondary is continuing to play a two-deep zone coverage, kind of soft with the cornerbacks. They call it a quarter-quarter defense. These guys are expected to make tackles in front of them. They have the speed to get up there, and as soon as the ball carrier, the receiver, catches the ball, they want to make the tackle immediately.
Well, that's the end of the third quarter. Virginia leading 29-14. We'll be back with more after this message and a word from your ABC station.
better go into hiding.
He's plumped up nicely. And, of course, the Virginia Cavaliers. Ready for the fourth quarter, the final 15 of this interstate war. Steve Zabriskie, Gary Reasons, and Chip Tarkington with you from Charlottesville. Virginia leading, but Virginia Tech has the ball driving, and Oxendine trying to get enough for the first down on 3rd and 1 or 1.5. And maybe that little second effort surge got him the needed yardage.
Well, for 3 quarters here, this game is not what we expected. Total yardage for Virginia, 354 yards. I tell you, that's well over what Virginia Tech's defense is used to giving up. And I tell you, the turnovers for Virginia Tech, that's probably plagued them more than anything. They need to rush the ball a little bit more. Now they're going to rely on their passing game with Jim Druckenmiller here in the fourth quarter. Kind of big plays in the passing game, Steve, is what's been the story here today.
Well, certainly for Virginia Tech, their 2 touchdowns coming off of 2 big plays, 2 big pass plays from Druckenmiller to Bryan Still, but that was in the first quarter. And since then, Tech has not been able to score. Here we are early in the fourth. Oxendine did pick up the first down. So the ball at the 28 of Virginia. Throwing it out to Cornelius White, who's going to throw it back to Druckenmiller. And Druckenmiller is going to run on a quarterback screen play. And he's close to a first down. A good job by Joe Williams to fight his way through the block and make a tackle, or Druckenmiller might have had more yardage.
Steve, that play was very, very well set up. You'll see Druckenmiller, he's going to throw it out here. Looks like a screen to the left side. Takes a couple steps back. Look over here. And if we could hold it right here, you'll see all the white shirts out in front of him. Look at the blocking he has. Nice job that time by the defender to come through the blockers and make the tackle on Druckenmiller. Otherwise, it may be a touchdown.
Heck of a play by Joe Williams, but a very good call and very well run by Virginia Tech. It's another first down, this time at the 18 of Virginia. Oxendine bouncing outside and down to about the 13 in the grasp of James Ferrier.
You can see what Ken Oxendine has. He's got the elusiveness, quick feet, shifty. He avoids tacklers. He's able to go forward, you know, and make people miss. Ken Oxendine is a quality running back, and he has done a nice job the last couple of weeks of carrying this Virginia Tech offense in the backfield position, in the tailback position.
2nd down and 4. And a timeout now, apparently, for equipment. And now Oxendine's going to run off the field because they're going to run out of time. The play clock is down to 4 seconds. They get the play off with Thomas carrying, and he's down to the 10 is all, for a gain of a couple. Going to be a couple of yards short of the first down.
Big play here on 3rd down for the Hokies. You got a couple of yards to go. I think you look like you're in 4-down territory. You got to take 2 downs to get the 2 yards if necessary. Don't do anything foolish here. You got 2 plays, get your first down, and continue the drive.
3rd down and 2. Play action. Complete. Holmes, touchdown. A well-executed 10-yard play-action pass to Germane Holmes, and Tech has scored for the first time since the first quarter. They did not have a first down most of the 3rd quarter.
It's a nice play. It's a screen play, but the big play here is watch the left tackle to the left side of your screen, number 71, Jay Haygood. He slips out, and he's going to get the key block here on the cornerback. Crocker opens it up. Boy, I tell you, that's smooth sailing for Holmes for a touchdown.
I think you and I could have run in that hole. That was huge. Now, 29-20, they're going to go for 2. Druckenmiller looking into the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Germane Holmes, and he's complaining that he was interfered with by Joe Crocker.
Couldn't see it very well, but it looked like there was some contact back there between Crocker and Holmes, and Holmes was not able to come back completely for the football, and that's what that's what he was complaining about, because Crocker had contacted him about midway in the end zone.
So it remains a 9-point lead for Virginia. Virginia Tech does what they needed to do, and that's get on the board here in the second half and close the gap. It's 29-20 Virginia with just under 13 minutes to go in the game. Dropping back, Demetrius Pete Allen and Terrence Wilkins. They have done the kickoff receiving chores all day for the Cavaliers. And Adel Larson will kick it off for Tech.
See what's happened today with Groh and Sherman. These guys have done a nice job. They both completed 8 of 14 and 8 of 10 for 142, 129 yards. It's 271 yards passing against this Virginia Tech defense. And Virginia has the ball again. Those guys will be at it again.
Allen finding a seam and getting out to about the 23. And that's all. Let's get an update again from John Saunders. John.
Well, Steve, Kentucky's been leading Tennessee from the outset. Peyton Manning here, the quarterback, rolls backwards but breaks the plane for the touchdown. 24-19, Tennessee still down to Kentucky. Ohio State and Indiana, Eddie George just picked up his second touchdown run of the day. 28-3, the Buckeyes lead Indiana. Bobby Hoying, meanwhile, was knocked out of the game with a slight concussion. He may return. Steve, back to you.
Thank you, John. Those are two big games, and the penalty here holding, and then we have a personal foul also against Virginia Tech. Frank Beamer was livid after the two-point conversion attempt, where he too felt like interference happened in the end zone, and this is only going to incense him even further. Now he's signaling the other way. Al Hines apparently signaled the wrong way the first time. And again, we remind you, we don't have a referee's microphone. Now George Welsh comes out, and Welsh is upset, obviously. What is going on? Anyway, getting back to what John Saunders was talking about, how about that Tennessee game with Kentucky giving them all they got?
See, that's some implications bowl-wise with that Georgia, for Tennessee. If they slip, that could really open some doors here for some of these teams, especially here in the ACC and the Big East. The co-champions that we have here, both of them, and they have an opportunity, both of them, to go to bowl games this year. And if Tennessee slides, it may be an opportunity for one of those guys to go to a bigger bowl.
That's true. Well, George is not his usual stoic self on the sideline right now, because the penalty moves the ball back to the 6-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 Virginia. Charles Kirby in at fullback in place of Medley. Kevin Brooks breaks through into the secondary, and a first down out near the 20, and flags go down again. Torian Gray on the stop, but I think we may have had a face mask.
Steve, there's enough flags on the field to make a quilt.
Everybody threw one, and everybody saw it.
One referee threw two.
It's a 14-yard gain that's going to be enhanced by the penalty. We'll see if it's the biggie or the minor infraction. It's just a 5-yarder. Now the Virginia fans are upset because they think it should be flagrant. But it moves the ball out to almost the 25.
You'll see here Brooks is going to just dart through the line. He's got a good opening there, good blocking up front. And at the end of the play here, you get to see the defender come across and just grab and pull him down. Good call by the officials.
Bulldogs. Virginia have gotten out from the shadow of their goalpost in a hurry. Brooks again. Grabbed as he went through the line by Jim Barron, number 92, who brings him down after a gain of about 3.
Kevin Brooks is a quality running back. He lost his starting job to Tiki Barber, who has really emerged as the feature back for this Virginia team. But for the past 3 years, Kevin Brooks has been the feature tailback, and he's accepted his role. He comes in and spells Tiki Barber. And last week, actually against Maryland, he was the catalyst of what allowed them to win. Tiki Barber ran too fast. His cuts were too wide, and so they feel like Kevin Brooks is a little more sure-footed. They put him in the ballgame. Did a really nice job for them last week.
Brooks is another graduate student on this team for Virginia, and he has the ball again. Trying to get away from Coleman. He gets the first down. Good move as Lauren Johnson, number 12, finally runs him out of bounds.
Just finding daylight. Kevin Brooks has been at it. He's done it a long time, and he knows what to do when he has the football in his hands, and just keeps going, keeps moving the chains, gets out there for a nice first down.
Let's get a report from Chip Tarkenton.
All right, guys, if you'll notice on the back of Mike Groh's helmet is a little piece of tape with the word Dad on it. Dad couldn't make the game today. Mike Groh wanted him to know he was thinking about him, so he put Dad on the back of his helmet.
Well, that's a nice touch, and I know, Dad, and I know you're watching out there, Al, so he's having a fine game, and he's doing a good job for this Cavalier team.
1st and 10. Groh almost fell down again. He gets the ball to Brooks, who's inside, or rather outside the 40, in the grasp of Tony Morrison, number 8. I think one of the key things, as you were talking about Brooks earlier, is the way in which he's accepted this role. I mean, he got hurt early in the year, and that gave Tiki the chance to come in and play more. And then Brooks had a hard time getting his job back, but he has accepted it beautifully and really has proven to be a team leader.
Well, that's the mark of a championship team. You have guys who accept their roles and just do what they need to get on the field and make this team better. Whether it's in a backup role, which is what Brooks has done, and he comes in, he's had a nice season so far himself.
Brooks has got it again. Trying to bounce off the pile, and he gets some extra yardage with great second effort. Almost out to a 1st down. Let's get an update again from John Saunders on the Penn State game. John.
Steve, the Nittany Lions trying to open up a bigger lead, and Wally Richardson here tosses it to the corner, and Bobby Ingram makes a great catch, 13 yards, 2nd touchdown pass of the day, 20-10. We told you Bobby Hoying with a slight concussion for Ohio State. He likely will not return, but that's because the game is in command. He's okay. Steve.
Thank you, John. A 10-point lead for Penn State. I'll tell you what, it's been a kind of a funny year for Michigan.
Michigan was the first ball game for these Cavaliers this year. They've lost 3 games, Steve, by a total of 7 points, and actually 2 ball games on the very last play of the game. 7 points is all the difference there is between these Cavaliers and a perfect season. Take a look at Bud Foster there. He's going to get his defense. Got to rally these guys. Got to get them to stop this Virginia offense. Virginia Tech has to get the ball back and put some points on the board. They're 2 scores down now. And Virginia's just driving away.
Pardon me, Gary. Another 1st down for Virginia on the measurement. Kevin Brooks cutting it back inside for a gain of a couple, and a flag goes down upon the tackle. And it's going to be against Virginia. Torian Gray made the stop. So they're going to mark this one off. We'll get the indication here from Al Hines. Holding against Virginia. Hey, next Saturday, more college football for you here on ABC. You'll be seeing at noon, Florida State. There's a big rivalry, and you want another rivalry? How about Ohio State, Michigan? Next Saturday, then at 3:30, we begin coverage of golf's most entertaining event. Defending champ Tom Watson, Fred Couples, Corey Pavin, Peter Jacobson are all going to play the Skins game. That's all next Saturday, football and golf here on ABC Sports. 1st and 22 after the penalty. Groh with lots of time, flips it out to Tiki Barber, but George Del Rico will have none of it. And Barber appears to be shaken up as he's dragged down at the 31.
It looks like he might have turned an ankle. George Del Rico made a nice play that time from his middle linebacker position. Just a play action pass from Groh, slipping it out to the outside.
Earlier, Chip Tarkenton gave us a report on the field here, and after this replay, I want to return to that thought.
Yeah, let's take a look here, see what can happen to him. Oh, his right ankle got turned under on the tackle, and that's what they're attending to right now.
Well, we talked about how the injuries have been less frequent on grass than on turf, and the kind of injuries we've seen today are not necessarily a result of the turf grass situation. The ankles we've seen have been where people have fallen on their ankles. That has nothing to do really with it. The other injuries we've seen have come from the fact that this is a rivalry and people are hitting. Yeah. And that's going to happen whether you got grass or turf. All in all, I don't think there's anybody in football, professional or college, who wouldn't rather play on grass than artificial surface.
And that kind of an injury that Tiki Barber had looked like his ankle turned out, which is more of a more serious injury than one that rolls in. Hopefully he'll be okay and be able to get back in this ball game.
Kevin Brooks is back in at tailback with Kirby at fullback. 2nd down. Play action. Groh gets it away. Incomplete, intended for Allen. And Groh took a shot after he released it. It's going to bring up 3rd and 24. There's that Ohio State score, and John told you about Bobby Hoying. Florida as expected. And Tennessee has come back now to lead Kentucky by 3 in the 3rd quarter. Florida State Trying to tie Virginia for the ACC championship with a win, which looks to be what's happening. Texas and TCU are tied. 3rd and 24, and Groh can't get it away. What a play by big number 58, Cornell Brown. He hasn't made himself very visible in this game, but that's a big play right there.
Just came right in underneath the blocker and made a nice rush into the inside and got Groh when he's stepping back off the play action fake. Cornell Brown is one of these guys from Virginia Tech that steps up, makes a lot of plays behind the line of scrimmage, and also a lot of sacks.
Well, that Virginia Tech defense, and you talked about it earlier, Gary, about how they make tackles behind the line of scrimmage. They have 73 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. That was their 9th of this game. Will Bryce on to kick. Not much wind right now. Should not be a factor. And Larry Green is back to receive for Tech. Bad snap. Bryce trying to pick it up. He still can't get it away, but he does. Then it's picked up by Tech. And Virginia Tech with a huge break as Keon Carpenter, a reserve safety, picked that ball out of the air.
That's the kind of play that happens in the kicking game that turns games around. Virginia Tech has an opportunity here. Just a bad snap to cause that play. You see the snap here, it goes down, and Bryce does not field the ball when the pressure comes in. Luckily, he's able to get it away a little bit.
Well, it was only a 1-yard punt officially and a 5-yard return. We'll be back. CFA College Football on ABC, brought to you by Chevrolet. The cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most. Chili's Grill and Bar, chili grills like no place else. And Black & Decker, it's how things get done. 8:35 to go in the game, and a big turnover on the kicking game, giving Virginia Tech a chance to cut that 9-point lead down to 1 or 2.
Here's a chance for Jim Druckenmiller to get his team back into the ball game. They're down by 9 points. They've got 8.5 minutes to go in this ball game. They need a touchdown here to keep this game closed, or at least points on the board.
From the Virginia 21. Play action. Druckenmiller under pressure gets it away. Incomplete. It was intended for Brian Jennings. And let's get an update again from John Saunders.
We told you Tennessee was struggling against Kentucky. Peyton Manning can make up for a lot of struggling. 70 yards here to Joey Kent for the touchdown. They go for the 2-point conversion, get that. Manning to Dustin Moore, and now lead 27-24. We'll keep you up to date. It's in the fourth quarter. Steve, back to you.
Thank you, John. Well, that's a good one there. We got a good one here. It is 2nd and 10 from the Virginia 21. The interception play, and Druckenmiller had a problem on the exchange of center. So he did not run the play. He just turned it upfield, and Jamie Sharper, number 33, drops him for a gain of about a yard. Again, let's check in with John Saunders. John.
This one, Michigan and Penn State. Penn State had just scored, and right back come the Wolverines. Tim Biakabatuka, 18 yards for touchdown, Tim. It's a 3-point game. Steve.
I'll tell you what, they're getting tight all over the place here late this afternoon. 3rd down and 8 now for Virginia Tech inside the Virginia 20. They have this great opportunity, and the first 2 plays have not worked that well for them. Druckenmiller trying to get away. He cannot. Hauled down by Todd White.
Steve, it was a nice play by Virginia that time. Their defense, they were in a 3-man, odd man front. Just 3 men are rushing the pass here. You see Druckenmiller drop back, and Todd White is jumping around from left to right, right in the middle of your screen. And he's just fighting through 3 guys, and he keeps coming and coming. And Druckenmiller steps up, and White alertly steps off and makes the play. Good job for 3 guys rushing the quarterback, and they're dropping 8.
It's a 35-yard field goal attempt as Abel Larson comes on, and now the officials stop play. Timeout called by Virginia. So 7:02 left to go in the game. A 9-point Virginia lead. The field goal, of course, would cut it to 6. So they would be a touchdown away.
Really surprised they called timeout in that situation. They had their defense on the field. They still do, and 11 guys out there. And you know, when you have your defense out there, Rick Lance knows how to line up against his team if they're going through a punt or a field goal or a fake field goal, and that's something they've coached and they've gone over. Opportunity to lose an extra timeout that they could use later in the ball game. I'm sure that they're not happy about that.
Virginia may have had 12 men on the field.
No, Steve, they had 11 guys out
11.
there. I counted them out there, and
really?
There were 11, and I'm surprised why they called the timeout.
Sometimes coaches will want to, as they say, ice the kicker, but I don't think that was the case here.
No, there was some type of confusion in that Virginia kick block area, and I guess better be safe than sorry.
And Larson, as you see, it's well within his range. He's been a pretty consistent kicker for Tech. It is up, it is plenty long, and it is good. Less than 7 minutes to go in the game. Now Virginia Tech is within 6. It's 29-23 Virginia. They're fighting for the football outside the field and doing some fighting on the field as well. Some of the beautiful countryside, the hills of Virginia near the Blue Ridge Mountains here in Charlottesville, and not too far from downtown Charlottesville, high on a hilltop, Monticello, home of Thomas Jefferson. just another feature of the great history surrounding this part of the country, and what a beautiful place that is, open for tours almost every day. Demetrius Allen and Terrence Wilkins are back. You can see how tight these games have been. We talked about that earlier. Adel Larson will kick it off. And it is now a 6-point game after his field goal. Allen from the goal line. He's got a lane. And the kicker, Adel Larson, runs him out of bounds. And a flag goes down at the point of the tackle. A 46-yard return by Demetrius Pete Allen. 150 pounds of motor. But there is a penalty.
Well, I think at the end of the play here, you watch Adrian Burnham, number 37, come there. He's going to get called for pushing in the back right there at the end on the kicker. And that's exactly what they're throwing the flag on. Remember, Adrian Burnham got in and he blocked a kick earlier today, and not such a good play here in this phase of the kicking game.
Adrian Burnham figured big in that Florida State game, as he was one of the two DBs that stopped the last play of the game for Florida State, short of the goal line. Warwick Dunn made a great effort, but came up short. So the penalty knocks a little off of Allen's 46-yard return. And Frank Beamer, let's see if his defense can stop him here, because Virginia Tech has outscored Virginia here in the second half to make it a 6-point game. 1st and 10. Mike Groh still in at quarterback from the 35. Tiki Barber shaken up earlier, back in there, but he's going to lose a yard or two. Again, Virginia Tech had great penetration, led by J.C. Price, number 59. Let's again get an update from New York. John Saunders. John.
Well, Steve, we told you Tennessee had taken the lead, but take a look at this run by Billy Jack Haskins. He's hit there by 2 guys, then he's hit by 3, then another one, and then he's off to the races. Somehow he comes out of the pack and goes 47 yards for the touchdown. Kentucky leads. Tennessee is marching, though.
What a game. What a game. Thank you, John. Virginia trying to put this one away. They've got to get the ball going, though, as Groh is taken down, and again it's J.C. Price, who's made 2 big defensive plays in a row.
J.C. just kept pushing inside. Mike Groh stepped up and got into Price's arms, and he just kept going there. And that's a nice job by Price, pushing his way through.
A reminder, there's more football coming up. The second half of our doubleheader, Arkansas, LSU, and the SEC. Most of you watching this game will see the Northwestern Purdue game, as those Wildcats are having some kind of year. UCLA, USC, Colorado, Kansas State, Utah, BYU, all coming up next here on ABC Sports. 3rd down and 16. Groh under pressure, goes down again. George Del Rico and Cornell Brown.
I talked about tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage, sacks. Well, I tell you, that's the 12th time they've been a tackle behind the line of scrimmage today. Cornell Brown with the second sack of the ball game. He's going to come from the left side of your screen, just gets a hold of Groh and pulls him to the ground. Del Rico, the linebacker, was doing a hug technique on his coverage. A lot of pressure in Groh's face. He had nowhere to throw the football.
Virginia will have to give up the football as Will Bryce is on to punt again. He had a 1-yarder the last time. Larry Green is back as usual for Tech. Remember the bad snap, and it was just about in this area of the field. The last time Bryce went to punt, less than 4.5 minutes left to go in the game. A low snap, but Bryce does a great job of one-hopping it. Green will have no chance to return. It takes a Tech bounce before it's touched and brought forward by Joe Crocker.
Steve, that's one of the things that Virginia has had trouble with in the punting game is the snap, the consistency of the deep snap coming back. You talked about the last snap when Bryce was back there punting. He actually, when he took the ball, he's a left-footed punter, but when the pressure came, he kicked it with his right foot. Kind of unusual, but when he does do kickoffs as well, he said his dominant foot has become his right foot on kickoff, which is why he does that.
That was only a 23-yard kick. Hey, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report, time permitting. The Thrifty Car Rental postgame report will bring you up to date on scores and highlights at the end of this game. Well, Tech has another opportunity. They're down by 6. They have it at the Virginia 46. 1st down. Play action. Druckenmiller has lots of time. Incomplete, intended for Marcus Parker, the fullback, but it was underthrown. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Play action pass that time to get Druckenmiller a chance to set up a run fake and get some guys down the field a little bit. He had 3 guys running deep, and he threw the ball short to one of the receivers to the outside.
There's that Tennessee-Kentucky game, a 3-point game, and coming up next here on ABC, Northwestern at Purdue. From the shotgun, Druckenmiller firing it to Oxendine, incomplete. Looked like it went right through his hands. James Ferrier was covering him. Virginia Tech has had 3 chances here in the 4th quarter. Their last 3 possessions have been at Virginia's 39, Virginia's 21, and now Virginia's 46.
With that kind of field position, you're supposed to put points on the board, and here they are still at the 46-yard line on 3rd down, 3rd and 10. They need to get something here on this play, because even if they get 4 or 5 yards, they will go for it on 4th down. I'd be pretty sure of that.
Nobody open. Druckenmiller now just gets it away. It's intercepted. Picked off by Virginia's Todd White.
Druckenmiller tried to elude the rush, and he tried to get out there and run the ball himself. He knew he was going to be cornered. He's going to throw the ball away. Jamie Sharper gets in his face. You see Druckenmiller here. He's going to move to the outside. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. I'll throw the ball. It hits him right in the chest, and good job there by the defensive tackle White coming up and make the interception.
What a job by the Virginia defense to turn Virginia Tech away on all 3 of those possessions. They came away with but a field goal in all 3 of those possessions deep in Virginia territory. 4:08 to go in the game. Virginia leading by 6. Brooks picking his way forward for a gain of 2 or 3, and we'll go to John Saunders for yet another update.
And once again, it's Tennessee-Kentucky. Peyton Manning leads the drive once again to Greg Kyler. 14 yards, puts his head down and bowls his way in. Tennessee back on top, 34-31. About 11 minutes to go. Steve.
Thank you, John. 11 minutes to go in that one. A 3-point game. Here we've got a 6-point game with 3.5 to go. Kevin Brooks gained 2. It is 2nd and 8. It again. Getting out to about, well, crossing midfield really into Tech territory at the 49. J.C. Price and George Del Rico on the stop.
Steve, these guys in the trenches, both offensive lines have done a pretty good job today moving the football. And Kevin Brooks has stepped in for Tiki Barber and done a nice job of slashing and running the ball hard. He's got some good, hard, tough yardage there for the Virginia offense. Remember that Mike Groh was injured early in the 1st half, and Tim Sherman came in and really sparked this Virginia offense, got a couple of scores. And, you know, between Sherman and Groh, they've done a nice job at the helm here for this Virginia team.
On 3rd down from the shotgun, Groh looking long, incomplete, and a flag goes down for interference. Bobby Neely, the tight end, sandwiched by 2 defenders, Torian Gray and Antonio Banks.
Definitely was sandwiched. Bobby Neely was going to run a little corner pattern, and Mike Groh threw it out there where he could catch it. There was contact prior to the play, and that's what they're calling here, the penalty.
And the interference call will give Virginia a 1st down in Tech territory.
That's a big play at this juncture in the ball game. Bobby Neely's kind of been out of the lineup with injuries. He's only played in 3 or 4 games this year. You'll see Groh here. He's going to throw the ball out to Neely, who's got pretty good speed for a tight end, and definitely contact prior to the ball getting there, and good call by the officials.
Torian Gray hitting him in the back prior to the arrival of the football. The penalty moves the ball to the 34 of Virginia Tech. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. Kevin Brooks finding a hole down to the 30 before he's thrown back. George Del Rico again leading the defensive charge.
clock is definitely a concern here for Virginia Tech. They may be using some timeouts. There's 2:30 to go in the ball game. The clock is stopped.
Well, remember, Tech came into this game giving up just 75 yards a game rushing. Virginia now has 102 yards rushing, and Virginia Tech uses their first timeout of 3 available here in the second half, stopping the clock with exactly 2.5 minutes left to go. It is a 6-point Virginia lead, and they have the ball.
Got any time?
Each team has 2 timeouts remaining as we go to the final 2.5 minutes of this game, and Virginia with what could be the game-winning drive here. Even if they don't score, they've been able to move the football down to the 30 of Virginia Tech, and they just need to eat up the final 2.5 minutes without losing possession. 2nd down and 5 from the 30. Kevin Brooks hitting the backfield, and what a play by Hank Coleman, who was in there so quickly. Coleman, a senior from Richmond, just didn't let that play get started at all.
Well, it's actually a pretty good field position play, stopping them there, forcing them to be 3rd down. They're down to the 34-yard line. They can stop them here again on 3rd down. If they even attempt a field goal to push it ahead of a touchdown margin, it'd be a good opportunity here for Virginia Tech to move the ball down the field.
Virginia Tech uses their 2nd timeout. They have 1 more remaining. The clock stops with 2:24 left to go. Well, our genuine Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are, for Virginia Tech, wide receiver Bryan Still, who caught 4 balls for 119 yards and had some biggies. And right there, number 7, Tim Sherman, the backup quarterback for Virginia, who came in the first half when Mike Groh was injured. He threw 8 of 10 for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he got a shot to the chin on top of it. In celebrating its 25th year of NCAA sponsorship, Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. Those contributions will be made in the names of Bryan Still and Tim Sherman.
Bryan Still caught some big balls that set up touchdowns for Virginia Tech, and Tim Sherman, coming off the bench, doing a nice job running this team in the absence of Mike Groh. That's what you need for depth on a team, and Tim Sherman stepped up to the plate when he had to.
2:24 left to go. Inside handoff to Tiki Barber, who's back in the game, and Barber's inside the 30 to about the 29. About 5 yards short of the first down yardage. George Del Rico, 41 again on the stop.
I think I see Virginia's field goal team coming out on the field with Garcia going to kick the ball.
And Virginia, although they would not want to use them, has 2 remaining. 2 minutes, 17 seconds remaining in the game. Now, one thing Frank Beamer has done in his career is teach his guys how to block kicks. So I bet they got the play on. Under Beamer, they have blocked in 99 games 48 kicks. Let's get an update again from John Saunders. John.
Steve, Penn State trying to close it out against Michigan. Joe Nastasi on the fake field goal. They fooled him completely. Runs it in for the touchdown 2 yards out. Penn State looks like they'll hang on to win. About 2 minutes left. Steve.
Thank you, John. That's a big win for the Nittany Lions. I'll tell you what, that Big Ten changed a lot when Penn State joined them. Well, it's going to be a 46-yard field goal attempt for Rafael Garcia. He has kicked a 56-yarder. And timeout called now by Virginia.
The double icing, Steve.
Let's ice our own kicker. Virginia calls timeout. They only have one left now.
George Welsh is not too happy about what's going on out there and trying to get things right.
Yeah, he wants to get things straightened out.
Well, George is seeing something here on the field, and he doesn't get excited too much, but right now he's going to get after these guys. What in the world is going on?
Yeah, he saw something that wasn't right, and he's as animated as you'll ever see him right there calling timeout. And when George takes the hat off, you know he's upset.
Oh, yes.
Well, this is well within Garcia's range. Rafael is a junior from Danville, Virginia. He was born in Spain, and this year, from 40-plus, he is 8 of 10 outside the 40-yard line, including that 56-yarder. So a 46-yarder should be makeable.
Last year against Virginia Tech, he had 5 field goals in the ball game last year, and set the record here at Virginia for the most field goals kicked in one single game. And his dad was here over from Spain. It was the first ball game he's seen him play at Virginia. Good special moment for him. I talked to him on the practice the other day. A really nice kid. Believe it or not, he's from Spain, grew up there, and he's here at Virginia, and he's majoring in Spanish.
Oh. Well, I hope he has good grades.
I think he's all over that one, Steve.
Well, here it is. It could put the game away. Is it going to make it? No! Just missing wide left. It was barely long enough, but it was wide left. And with 2:12 remaining, Virginia Tech's going to get the ball back trailing by 6.
Take a look at the kick here. It's going to be right in your living room. Ball's coming up. It's going to be just a little bit short and left. Well, Frank Beamer has an opportunity here to get his Virginia Tech Hokies down the field. They need a touchdown to get back into this ball game. It's 2 minutes to go. I don't think they have any timeouts left. So this is the offense they run all the time. So that should be no problem for them to continue moving the ball.
71 yards away as they go from the 29. Over the middle, Druckenmiller incomplete. It was intended for wide receiver Jermaine Holmes, who could not hold on. May have been thrown a little too hard. So then short a pass. Second down, 10. Clock stopped on the incompletion with 2:09 remaining.
Druckenmiller's calling the play at the line of scrimmage. Audibling there.
Pump fake, trying to go long. He's got Cornelius White. It's tipped and incomplete. A good job by Joe Crocker, who has an interception already in the game. Who got a hand on it to tip it away from Cornelius White.
Good job by Joe Crocker. There was set up by a play that was thrown down the field. He's trying to get some big yardage on one play. Only a 3-man rush that time by Virginia. Dropping 8 in coverage. They're playing zone coverage here. They're not matching up man-to-man, so they're going to try to bracket him with the safeties down the field.
Tech with no timeouts remaining. It's third down. Almost intercepted. Crocker again. The ball overthrown, and he went up and had to go through his hands. Again, an update from John Saunders.
Well, Steve, we actually just want to remind everyone that the second half of our doubleheader comes your way next. When you are done, some will see Northwestern and Purdue. Others will see Arkansas against LSU. It's all coming up at the end of your game. Steve, back to you.
Thank you, John. More football coming up. See those Wildcats if you haven't seen them this year. But now it is 4th and 10. 1:58 to go. This is it for Tech. Complete. Cornelius White has the first down at the 43. Percy Ellsworth hit him immediately, number 27. but Cornelius White held on. Big catch. They'll mark it at the 47.5. 1:52 as the clock stopped on the first down. Now it'll be restarted, and a new set of downs for Virginia Tech.
Virginia still rushing 3 guys up front, and Druckenmiller has time to throw.
Oxendine catches it at midfield. They're going to have to hustle now because the clock will continue running as Ferrier made the stop. Minute and a half to go.
Virginia's hustling in some new rush guys, trying to get some fresh guys to rush that quarterback. They're only rushing 3, and like I said, and dropping 8 for coverage.
4 wideouts in the game, of course, for Tech. Druckenmiller can't find anybody open. Now he dumps it off, and it's complete to Germane Holmes, who dances out of bounds and has enough yardage for the first down. That stops the clock with 1:17 to go.
Good job that time by Druckenmiller, finding the receiver on the outside, going to stop the clock, make the first down as well.
1st and 10. The ball now at the 45 of Virginia. Druckenmiller incomplete. Intended on the far sideline from Michael Stewie. Rondé Barber had the coverage, but the ball thrown wide, and Stewie tried to keep his feet in bounds, but couldn't come up with it. 1:11 now remaining on the clock.
Steve, we really haven't touched on it very much today, but we have 2 champions here, the ACC champions, co-champions at least, Virginia, and also the Big East champions, Virginia Tech. Both of them are headed to bowl games, and this drive may be very indicative of what happens to these teams. I would think that one team that's going to have 9 victories may be going to a better bowl game than the other, and that's what they're playing for right now.
Fakes the handoff, throws it out, and completes it to Bryan Still, and Still gets out of bounds. He's short of the first down, but he picks up positive yardage and stops the clock with 1:04 remaining. James Ferrier dragged him out of bounds, number 42.
Nice job that time by Still, eluding a tackler and getting the ball upfield a little bit more and getting out of bounds to stop the clock.
It's going to be 3rd down and about 4 yards to go, but more importantly, the ball now at the 38 of Virginia. 1:04 to go, Virginia leading by 6. And whistle stop play. A flag went down at the line of scrimmage. Actually, a couple of flags.
Yeah, I believe the left guard pulled up prior to the snap. A little bit off timing there, so it's going to be probably 3rd and 9.
Illegal procedure is the call by Al Hines. Frank Beamer's reaction. And they're going to need to put a second back on the clock, I think, because it started. And it's down to 1:03. It was 1:04 prior to the penalty. But apparently not. They're not going to change the clock. 3rd and about 9. Druckenmiller firing. Did he complete it? Michael Stewie made the catch and got the first down. He did not get out of bounds. Rondé Barber made the stop. But when the chains are set, the clock will start again. As you see, 58 seconds remaining. Now the ball at the 32 of Virginia. First down. Druckenmiller wants to go long. He has Holmes. Touchdown! A 32-yard lightning strike as Holmes ties the game. Druckenmiller with the pump fake. A play they've used well to Bryan Still earlier in the game, to Germane Holmes, and the game is tied at 29 with the extra point to come and 47 seconds left on the clock.
One thing that is a no-no for a safety is to take that fake, especially late in the game, and Percy Ellsworth bit on the pump, allowed the receiver to get behind him, and that's what happened on that play, Steve.
Randall Larson for an all-important extra point, and it is good. Virginia Tech has come back to lead after leading early in the game, 30-29.
Well, look at here, Druckenmiller. He's going to look and he's going to pump right there. You can stop. You see Ellsworth step forward. That's what happened. He sucked up on the fake, and Holmes went right by him. Take a look here at Druckenmiller. See the fake there? Throws the ball out over the top. Ellsworth, who has the deep half on that side of the field, sucked up on the fake, and it's a touchdown by the Hokies.
Virginia Tech goes 71 yards in 10 plays, and you can't blame Germane Holmes for jumping for joy as they score in just 1:25 and take the lead for the first time since the first half. It is 30-29 Virginia Tech. This is a series in which the home team has not fared well lately, and Tech is trying to keep that going. Druckenmiller on that drive was 6 of 11 passing for 76 yards. Virginia Tech has scored 16 points here in the fourth quarter to lead by 1.
Very efficient play calling. Nice job of running that offense by Jim Druckenmiller. They utilized the time on the clock. They had no timeouts. Stopped the clock, and they moved down the field on the first downs and also getting the ball out of bounds.
Well, now Virginia will not have much time in which to operate, just 47 seconds and less than that if there's a kickoff return. Demetrius Pete Allen and Terrence Wilkins are back. Larson trying to kick it deep. Allen's going to take it at the goal line. Trying to get outside. He can't get out of bounds. Down at the 18. 42 seconds left in the game.
Well, Virginia Tech has their veteran in there, Mike Groh, and if there's a chance to move the ball down the field, they're going to have their senior quarterback in there. He's going to be running this hurry-up offense for these guys. They have 1 timeout remaining.
Good protection. He dumps it over the middle for Barber, incomplete. 39 seconds left on the clock. Now, remember, they had to take a timeout when they had the field goal attempt earlier. How big now is both the timeout they had to take when George Welch saw something and the fact that they missed that field goal. That has given the opportunity to Virginia Tech to go ahead by a point. They only have 1 timeout left.
It is huge, Steve, the timeout, but I think Virginia has to move the pocket, get outside, let Groh throw the ball down the field to the outside if they can.
Almost dropped by Brian McCarthy, who was open and would have been a first down near midfield. McCarthy, a redshirt freshman, could not hold on.
You can see the ball here. It's well thrown right in the chest and just drops the ball.
How big is that play? 35 seconds. It's 3rd and 10. They're going to get the first down as Tiki Barber is cut down right at the 29. Just enough for the first down. Tony Morrison on the stop. And Virginia will have to hurry up now, as soon as the ball is set, the clock will start. 29 seconds left in the game. Boy, it's been tough for Virginia. They lost to Michigan and Texas in the last moment of the game. Groh throwing it, and it's complete at the 40-yard line. Good play by Brian Owen.
Whether or not that was caught is kind of undecided. You know, there was too many Virginia players in front of us to see the play, but they call it a reception.
It's hard to tell. You mentioned earlier the 9 wins for either team as to what bowl they'll go to. I'll tell you what, I would hate to guess which bowl each one of these teams will go to. Barber got to get out of bounds, and he does at the 40 of Virginia Tech. 10 seconds left in the game. Antonio Banks ran him out of bounds, and a gain of 20.
Steve, they need about 7 more yards to be in Garcia's range for a field goal. He's got a strong leg. He didn't make the kick, didn't make contact on the last one. But if they get down to the 32, 33-yard line, they at least have a chance to line up and kick a field goal.
Garcia's only attempted 2 field goals beyond the 50-yard range. He has made both of them.
They still have the timeout.
And obviously they want to get the gain and call the timeout so they can get the field goal set up. But they've got to get some more yardage. 10 seconds left. Groh over the middle, knocked down. Brandon Simonis, the linebacker, came in and knocked the ball away from Brian McCarthy, and now there are 6 seconds left on the clock. What do you do now? Do you put Garcia out there and have him try a humongous field goal, or do you try to get one more play off?
Steve, I think it's going to be almost impossible to get the ball down the field 7 or 8 yards and stop the clock. Even with a field, even with a timeout, it's going to be hard to stop the clock. Chances are they may try to go to a big jump, big bend pattern where they throw the ball down the field and make a big play. It looks like they're taking their timeout now, so that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to have to come back and either kick the field goal, or they're going to have to throw the ball into the end zone or try to make a touchdown.
Well, a field goal would be a monstrous shot of almost 60 yards as Virginia uses their final timeout. Just 6 seconds left on the clock.
Well, there's no wind in the stadium right now. The flags are completely limp. So if they do try to kick a field goal, it'll be everything he'd have to get it there. It'd be about a 57, 58-yard attempt.
We were talking earlier about those bowl games, and right now I don't know who could tell you which bowl game these teams would go to regardless of who wins this game, because Virginia's got Florida State now as co-champion in the ACC. Miami is the Virginia Tech counterpart in the Big East, and consequently Virginia Tech, even winning the Big East, may get shut out of the Orange Bowl. Where these two teams go is going to depend on 2 things: who wins this game, and that, with 6 seconds to go, is still somewhat in doubt.
But Steve, whichever team, whatever bowl they go to, they're going to get a quality football team in that bowl. Both of these teams are well coached. They have had a tremendous season. Virginia Tech has strung together 8 victories in a row, and there's something to be said about that. Virginia here, winning. They beat Florida State a couple weeks ago, which really elevated their program to another level. It's the first loss Florida State has had in the ACC. So whichever bowl these teams go, either of these teams go to, is going to be a big plus for that bowl.
Well, they're going to try to run one play, and it better be a quick one as Groh throws. Yeah, intercepted. Picked off by Virginia Tech. Antonio Banks takes it all the way. Virginia Tech wins 9 in a row to close out a phenomenal season, and they do it in amazing fashion. They come back with 16 points in the final quarter to win, going away on the final play of the game.
Well, Mike Groh is doing what he's supposed to do here, trying to throw the ball outside to stop the clock and get a chance for the field goal. And Banks steps up. He knows it's going to be a short pass, picks it off, takes it the distance. Nice play, good coaching by Virginia Tech secondary coach, getting him up there ready for the short play on the outside.
Tiki Barber tried to come in and make the tackle, but Banks shrugged him off and went 65 yards with the interception return to make the final score. Virginia Tech 36 and Virginia 29. Stay tuned for the second game of our ABC college football doubleheader. Coming up next, it's Northwestern and Purdue, or Arkansas at LSU. Steve Zabriskie for Gary Reasons and Chip Tarkenton saying so long from Charlottesville.